everyone, and welcome to a brand new, severely ass-kicking edition of the Fans of Power podcast. I'm Tyler Baker, and rounding at the table, as always, is the usual crew, the usual suspects, what do you want to call us, is the Rotten Amato, Joe Amato, and Nasty Nate Kennedy, and we're here tonight. Our mission statement for this episode is just to have a whole hell lot of fun. God, a whole lot of Jesus Christ, man.
We're live, pal.
I know we are live, pal. I'm just going to embrace this complete botch here, you know. But yes, we're here to have a blast tonight, and we're going to do something outside the box a little bit, and we'll get into that here in a moment here. But Joe, Nathan, you guys pumped and ready? Are you disappointed about stuff? Are you excited about life in general? Are you mad about, you know?
Well, there are a few things that I'm disappointed about, but we'll save that conversation for next week. To keep that brief, we know that PowerCon was this weekend, and we're not going to discuss any of the reveals on the show this week. We'll do that next week, because we're going to dedicate this episode strictly to talking about what James E. Talk dropped on us on Friday. That was Friday, right, where he dropped the cover and the 2 pages?
Yeah. And
then we're going to talk about the Titanic toy tussle from ToyFare. That's a lot of T's. But that was from, we got it right here. From May 2000, so this is 20 years, and you can't find anything about it on the internet. Tyler's talked about it multiple times over the years in passing. He's talked to Joe about it. I think it was Brad Collins that had the good ears that remembered when you mentioned it to Joe on some episode long ago. But
yeah, we can rely on Brad for being very familiar with things that we say on this podcast, which is very flattering, you know. So it's I've always wanted to kind of go into more depth about it, but as we found out just how little there is about it, and Nathan had to actually purchase the copy itself, and they had the whole thing in there. We'll get into that as we get to it. Then we'll give you the whole backstory. Yeah. But first off is Busta Toons' epic Master of the Universe 85. The first teasers were dropped on Friday and did not fail to to deliver there. I was going to say disappoint almost. I cannot talk right at all here tonight, but you know, it's okay.
Well, we'll let you, before we get into it, we'll let you collect your mind and your thoughts, and we'll pass it to Joe, who will let us know all the lovely people in the chat room, including one who I think went through a name change in reflection.
Yeah, you'll like Tyler's going to remember this name change. He'll like it, but first, let's say we got Febmon, Spider Rat, Adam Gabbard, Toki Death Nuts. He changed his name from Toki Deathhammer. He is now Toki Death Nuts.
You can't argue with that. Sounds so much better, though. I mean, that name just, I mean, it breaks through the wall.
Yep, so he did it there, and that's just for you. We got Zentron, Curtis Ackerman, Darth Baca, Papa Hud 69, Curtis Mark Out Media, Moises Santos. Moises, I always mess your name up. Open and butcher. JSP and Grimbot and Eric Sanchez and Daniel Carhunen. Boom, just popped in. And Daniel, we always appreciate your support because he's always sharing our podcast all the time. Yes, he is.
It's always much appreciated. Where is the rest of you people supporting, like sharing our podcast on your social media feed or something like that? You know, because we're not going to get attention in any of the social media groups because people are trying to one-up each other with their latest Walmart buy. So appreciate any people who just want to share the podcast anywhere on their social media feed. Don't share it in those groups because people aren't paying attention.
I did,
but it's always much appreciated.
I did,
and Aaron Voorhees, real quick. Go ahead.
I did go out yesterday to see if I could find any Origins or any GI Joes. A whole lot of nothing. There was some Masters of the WWE Universe figure. It was Wave 2 though, so it was just a couple Roman Reigns and a faker John Cena. That was about it. So I was like, no, hard.
Oh man,
I'm good.
Sorry, Zen Brown. And Zen Brown, he said I forgot him. Sorry, Zen Brown. I must have missed you while I was going through. It's hard to see through these eyes sometimes, but what the heck. So, sorry, Zen Brown, but I got you there. But now, however you want to start it. And Nathan, I was going to say, when we do the Masters of the Universe 85, will you be popping pictures up there to show everybody? Or is that
no, yeah. I'm going to pop up. I'll do that now, actually. I'll switch that over here. I actually messaged James. I'm like, hey, is it cool? I know everyone's sharing it on Facebook. Is it okay if I go ahead and put it on screen for the podcast? And he said, go ahead. And he told me that rest assured when page 3 drops that it's going to blow some people's minds. So
that's just screamed right there, though. Just screams vintage. They feel it. They get it. They know it's the essence of Masters of the Universe in one single photo. I mean, that just, I love seeing something like that because you just know the people that are behind it are super fans. So
and know what they're doing. Unlike those cheap assholes at Mattel, 6 pages, my ass.
And also, just to let you know, I told James, and he knows how I am with about like previews and stuff. I was like, James, how long is this comic gonna be? Because it's gonna be a lot of pages. I said, I'm gonna let you know. I've looked at all the pictures so far of like what we're seeing right now. I said, but I didn't read the dialogue. I'm gonna wait till it's all complete. He said, you're gonna be waiting a long time, Joe. And I was like, I can't help it. I was like, I want to feel like I read the comic all together. I said, but I'll still look at the pictures. I said, I'll share it through social media. But as for any of the dialogue that was going on, I don't know. But you guys can talk about it. I don't care. I just didn't read it. I didn't read it.
Well, Joe, it was maybe a couple of small boxes of dialogue, and it was more or less narration.
Yeah,
that's,
it's just
setting
it up.
Okay.
There wasn't anything like really meaty to it at all. It's like here's Eternia.
I bet some of this. Yeah, that's about it. And I almost feel like his next one is going to be more picture oriented than dialogue oriented. So Joe, you're going to have to make up your mind which is going to be spoiler esque. Is it going to be reading or looking at the pictures? Because I don't think you're going to be able to have it both ways there.
Yeah, there's going to be a point where I'm probably just going to have to like cave in and say, "What the hell?" Just read it all,
man.
see what's going on.
We need to figure out where this trauma of like this spoiler. I don't know what it is. Fetish? I don't know what it is.
I bet he went to walk in to see Empire Strikes Back or something, and some guy walked out.
I was gonna make a joke about that. Like he's standing in line, and like some asshole like, I couldn't believe Darth Vader was his father, and Joe's like holding on to his head, and he's wearing some version of his mask, even all the way back then, and just runs and jumps in the dumpster, and the legend is born.
I had family that used to annoy me doing that, though. They would like spoil things, but I think with the trailers. Like one in particular, it's nothing amazing, but I do remember like the trailer for Friday the 13th Part 8. And you remember how they were like doing the start spreading the news and it zooms in and you see Jason. And then I remember when I seen the movie, like, oh, that didn't happen. It was like my first time in my head.
That was a teaser trailer, though.
Well, here's the thing. At that time, I didn't know much about just teasers and things that would be and not be in it. And I was like, that wasn't in the damn movie. Then I started like paying attention to all teasers and saying, this sucks. Nothing they show is actually in the movie. I was like, I don't want to watch trailers. I don't know. I got mental issues.
That's
so
it?
I can admit that. That's it. Yep,
that is it? All
That's
this trauma that I've been hearing from you that you won't watch, that I had to make deals with you to watch the It and the Halloween. It's all because of the Friday the 13th Part 8 teaser trailer. People
started with that. Yep. Like I was like, that's it. Podcast's over. He's like, I can't talk to
and
this
that's an
guy
awesome teaser trailer, and you're going to hold that responsible for this. This is bullshit, man.
He's like, that's it. Cut the feed on Joe. You guys are going to talk about the Titanic.
I'm about ready to pull in a motto in the Patriot right now. Flip over my table here. Podcast is over. Just walk out of here.
I meant to send Joe a link to this guy on YouTube called JonTron. He did a video on Steven Seagal, and it's that guy is just nuts, and he can't run on film at all.
No.
Oh god, that's hilarious watching him run. God, is that hilarious? Like, where did he learn to run?
And that doesn't bother you, like as a fan? Like, was that something that you're like, well, he runs fine? You don't look at that as like, oh god, he can't run.
No, I would just crack it up because everybody would. We watch it first. It's like, what is he doing? Because nobody I knew runs like that. I don't know where he got that run, but yeah. I'll have to watch a JonTron or whatever you said to see if he does make fun of it.
I'll shoot you a link after the show. But I know a lot of people are like James E. Talk, and we need to give credit to Adam Moore and Andrew Kramer, who are the artist and colorist, respectively.
Oh, absolutely. Those guys did a phenomenal job on putting together James's vision, which is pretty much like when he read that to us, that is verbatim what I had envisioned. Like the whole setup and everything. So those guys, they clearly know how to read James's mind. So, bravo to both those guys. And I just can't wait to see how much more they continue to just keep kicking ass more and more. Like that depiction of Beastman and Skeletor alone, it severs all the dog shit that DC has been dumping out and anything else that's popped up in the various, canons and media that's been, dog shit out all over us, and those that said, oh, it was great. And it's just like, those delusional pricks. Like, these guys know how to draw current Master of the Universe the way it's just, it's grown up. I mean, this is how what you'd expect. People say, "Oh, this is drawn and written by people who were fans of it." Like the hell it was. Look at it, read it. This already is shown. There's a lot of appreciation for the mythology already in just these few panels that we've seen already.
Like I said, for me, it was just the damn cover. Right? When I seen the cover, I just knew it. I was like, these are the people that do get it. And even without me reading the dialogue, but of course now I have, I already knew that there was no way we're going to have to ever see Skeletor in this story say "meow," which thumbs up on that. We know we're not going to hear that moronic statement. But yeah, like I said, every bit of it, just the shadowing, the detail, just the pacing of the pages, the layout, it gets you giddy. It's like, man, you wish you could have like this type of comic every month. Could you picture getting something like this every month at the comic book store? These type of comics? I mean, that's something that make you. Yeah, like exactly. I mean, you would feel that excitement you had when you were a kid when you went, and you were always excited every month. Not like dreading, unfortunately, like when I knew, oh, here comes this one that me and Nathan are going to talk about that we knew was going to be garbage and was garbage and nobody liked. There was a few people, I guess.
There were people that liked it, Joe, and good on them that they got something out of it.
Good on them, yeah. They could like it, sure, and I can hate it. So I guess that's a good thing. I mean, as long as they
and I can call them out for liking it. I don't have to be nice about it.
He's like, I don't.
And I'm not going to be.
And no,
if I'm taking a lot of shit from having to hear people trash the '87 movie and make fun of Clash of Arms, saying they were fisting in the ass and stuff like that, I can smack the shit out of anybody for liking any of the current DC stuff. I do not care. It's not attacking them personally. It's attacking them for liking stupid shit. Oh,
and by the way, happy 33 year anniversary for the movie, which, what, was it August 7th or something when it was?
Yeah.
Was it August? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool to see some various new pictures that hadn't really been shown before from various different angles and things.
Was that Gary Goddard that showed that? Gary
Goddard had gotten it from somebody who had like the negatives of a lot of like publicity pictures that were done, and like John Atkins shared them, and Michael Bell, one of our super loyal listeners, like told me about it like while I was busy about stuff. If I hadn't, I probably would have seen it at some point, but I didn't see the bulk of it. Until Michael told me about it. So it was pretty cool to see a lot of those pictures, and
it was cool.
Yeah,
and I think James said, as for this comic, that it's going to be every Friday, if I'm not mistaken, where he would show a page or two every Friday going forward until it's complete. So definitely keep an eye on James's page and his Instagram, because I know I'm sure he had to put this on Instagram too. I mean, Grim can always correct me, but I'm sure he has to put this on Instagram.
See, I gotta do what James did. I gotta get meet up with a couple of guys to do some work with me. Of course I sure said I'm not gonna compare myself to the Mighty E-Talk, but I'm like, whatever he's got going here to get better stories out. Like, I need to get connected with some people who can do some work to put some more stories out. That way we've got more stuff coming out, and they don't have to rely on whatever bullshit that's. Hey, we licensed this asshole to write this story. You want to buy it? Next year we got 24 variant covers, but even more shittier artist. So I need to put something together. There's got to be somebody out there who wants to work with me, please. I'm like Doug Stanzo asking girls to like show me their tits, and girls go wild.
It'll be a thing. They'll be like, yeah, I've seen that jerk on that podcast that he does. I ain't working with him. Have you seen the views when he's on the show? They just tank.
I know. It's like no one wants to watch this podcast. Like there's two guys struggling off when he's not on there, but when he's on there, like they don't want to hear him be ugly and negative and trash us casual fans who buy all the trinket bullshit. Like I can't wait to buy all the Fisher Price shit or whatever the hell they are. It's just I just
anyway
pop their damn balloon.
I don't think this will be anything that we cover every week when a new page drops. Maybe we'll revisit it after a couple weeks when some more pages and we can kind of talk about it collectively. But sorry, I was also reading the chat as well. I look forward to what James does with this, how it's perceived by everybody in the community. If he's gonna just after this one keep going for a while, like. Obviously, he's got it on the cover that this is how did he have it worded on there? Let me bring it up again. Unofficial nonprofit. So we have to stress that enough. It is completely unofficial. He's not making any money off of it. It's just the love of the franchise.
Yeah, exactly. If only we could see that in other avenues.
Yeah. About that. Anyway,
Well,
shall we?
You want to hit this? Yeah, let's go ahead. Like I said, I gotta see what this is all about. I know I haven't seen a single page.
So initially, we thought it was in issue 32. So I got that on eBay and got it and flipped through it multiple times, and I'm like, it's not in here. So I had to do some more research, and it turns out it was in the following issue. So what we're gonna do first, and this might be kind of, I'm gonna warn you guys now. This is the original bracket from the magazine. If you can't make out the wording on it, you might need to like watch it on the YouTube app on TV or something, because if you're watching it on your phone, this is going to be incredibly small, and I can't really zoom into it too much. But this is the original bracket. I need to go ahead and actually bring this up myself on my computer so I can zoom in.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, it's 64 properties, and what Tyler and I have done, this is because this original bracket is not that good. They have things on here like Austin Powers and
oh my God,
Puppet Master and Kiss, a lot of the McFarlane stuff, because you think about it, all the McFarlane really started hitting the stride in the late 90s going into the year 2000. So I don't know why they included a lot of these. So what Tyler and I did is we went through, and on some of these, like with Star Wars, they have Power of the Force and Episode 1 figures, so we just put all that together. We combined a lot of things. We got rid of a decent amount of stuff because things like Dino Riders isn't in here. There's a lot of 80s and 90s toys that just didn't, for whatever reason, didn't make the cut. So we went through and completely changed it, and I guess you guys can talk about it for a little bit, because I'm going to have to like cycle through all the sources.
Yeah, and what this was it was a poll / contest that was held on ToyFare's site, and a lot of other websites, including He-Man.org, would post the poll of who He-Man, Master of the Universe, was competing against in each round. And every website or Toy Fair would have, who you could pick, who you wanted to beat in each round. And I found out about it months earlier when the contest was, when the tournament was still going on He-Man.org, before I had internet. And it was He-Man taking on the Turtles. And you had to vote who would go on to the next round. Is it going to be He-Man or Turtles? And He-Man, I voted for He-Man, obviously. It hurt because I love Turtles. I'm wearing it right now. But I voted for, and that's the last I heard of it until this magazine came out. And I'd forgotten all about it because I didn't have internet. And I looked, I'm like, oh my God. And they set up this awesome picture with various figures fighting in a wrestling ring, and an article kind of going through like the biggest upsets and surprises for each round. And then they had the entire bracket. And to see He-Man made it all the way to the finals and lost to Transformers, which was a big damn deal to me, because it beaten Turtles and G.I. Joe, another one of my beloved properties. And it was awesome to know that the fan base was that rabid that they ensured that He-Man made it all the way to the finals. And if it had to lose, it lost to a very worthy opponent in Transformers. And that Transformers beat Star Wars. Not Episode 1 or Powers of Force, but the original trilogy Star Wars tournament was beaten by Transformers. And it was just like a real testament to how hardcore the fan base was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, I mean, which is a dying breed, which is what I talk about. I feel like in this day and age, there's no way in hell a poll or a tournament is set up like this, and it comes down to just He-Man and Transformers amidst all these other properties with Turtles and Transformers, G.I. Joe, Marvel superhero lines, DC superhero lines. Like, it was a real testament to, like, I mean, He-Man is a presence, and Toy Fair was really shocked about that too. And they said in the article, they were shocked that He-Man beat G.I. Joe. They were shocked that Transformers beat Star Wars. And it was just so fascinating, because there was only, and looking back at it, yeah, it's pretty shitty, the roster, because very few top tier 80s and 90s toy lines are represented. I mean, they got Marvel famous covers, Witchblade, Final Fantasy, just things that don't seem to quite fit. And that's where Nathan suggested, like, we could do our own. And I thought, like, you know what? We're on the He-Man podcast here, so I'm sure some people can probably see where this is going. but it's giving a lot of toy lines that people who listen to this podcast are probably fans of and don't get to see a lot of recognition for, or a lot of, retrospect. Retro Blasting does a couple of fun videos on some of these, toy lines, which is
already in the chat. JSP says, yeah, there are a number of toy lines missing: Sky Commanders, Power Lords, Sectars, Brave Star. Well, boy, are you in luck, because they're all in this one.
Yeah, we went through and we came up with, and there might be a couple that we may have missed, and we acknowledge, because there were some that we dug deep and deep. There's some that I came up with. I had to remind Nathan that he had figures of.
I'm like, what? I had that. You had that. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, he had that. Like Guts, which, if any of you guys remember, the little army figure line of called Guts. They came with packs of 3 or 4 various military or ninja or scuba divers or army packs. If you just do a Google search for Guts Mattel, you'll see what I'm talking about. Army ants. We got really obscure, and then we also decided on movie toy lines that we were all fans of as kids. Cowboys from Moon Mesa, which I watched as a kid, never had any of the toys.
But they're not in this bracket, but we were throwing out everything. And it's like, all right, well, let's take this out, let's keep this, whatever. So I guess I will go ahead and unveil now, instead of the Titanic toy Tussle, we have the action figure Kumite. And then that's when you hear the music from Bloodsport start to play in your head.
The Fight to Survive starts playing.
I can't.
By Stan Bush, and I'll let Joe kind of soak this in here, and we're just going to go through each match and decide between the three of us, and we may have to get some listener participation here as we're doing this live to kind of come up with who is going to beat who's going to receive the death touch and move on to the next round. Just think of Bloodsport, and it's all we want to emphasize. If you haven't seen Bloodsport, what the hell are you doing watching this podcast? You already know by now we're fans of Bloodsport. So just envision the music, when the match starts, Hajime! All that going on when Chuck Norris steps into the ring against, the Superpowers or something like that. That's what we want you to envision as we're doing this tournament. And it's really just to give a lot of credit to toy lines that, they need more attention. There should be more focus. There should be... We almost kind of set this up like we're going to put in a couple of shitty toy lines just so they can get squashed. And we also said it needs to be toy lines that were released up to this point.
Yeah. So there's not going to be anything the cutoff point was the year 2000, because Tyler was like, well, what about Marvel Legends? And I was like, I don't think that came out until 2002. So Marvel Legends are not on the list. However, we do have Marvel Toy Biz, which is kind of our way of including X-Men, Spider-Man, all of those lines that came out in the 90s. And then,
including, the Marvel Superheroes toy line that started first. They had, the Marvel Training Center, the Punisher, Van. All that stuff is kind of grouped into one. Star Wars is just the original trilogy. No Episode 1 bullshit, no Attack of the Clones, no Power of the Force. It's just the original trilogy. That's what's represented there.
Man, I'm looking at it now, and I'm remembering how much of a pain in the ass it was to get all of these logos, for one, and if they had any background to them, getting that out of there, and then making them really tiny to fit into the bracket, because each of these I can move. So whatever advances, I can move that forward, make it a little bit bigger. It'll look nice, I hope, anyway. But Tyler, you got the little list that I sent you. That's got everybody there, and Joe, you have it in text form as well, because these logos are a little hard to see. But I guess we will start the top left. We have Marvel Secret Wars versus Street Sharks. And Joe, you can tell us if you collected any of these.
Oh, there's things I don't. Yeah, exactly. If I'm gonna say I collected or didn't collect or don't know, but I knew of Street Sharks. Never collected Secret Wars. I had maybe 2. So I'm picking Secret Wars because just didn't have Street Sharks. I don't know how good of a line it was. Maybe there were people that loved it, but I'm saying Secret Wars.
All right, and that's the thing too. We kind of didn't. I guess Tyler did touch on this. Each one of us has a vote, so it's gonna 2-1, or if a queen sweep, as some people like to say.
I don't think I'm going to be with probably almost you two or the chat room, because I'm just not going to have a big knowledge. So something.
Well, and there's a lot of lines that we put in here that I didn't own a single figure of, or barely. What it was. there are lines that are very respectable in the community of toy collecting and amongst all of us that I may have wanted. I never wasn't even aware of Secret Wars as a kid. Not until I got much older into the 90s where I heard of it. I only had one Street Shark as a kid. There's a lot of these lines that one figure, never saw the cartoon, or just saw the cartoon, never owned a figure. So it's just an appreciation for nothing but the best that, damn it, never gets enough attention, period. And why not put them in combat with each other here? So it's understandable. Any of you guys, if you disagree with this, it's our own personal preference or what we think should move on. But hell, if you disagree, that's awesome. It's cool to have passion.
And the fun thing about this is we figured it would give good conversation in the chat room for the whole episode. You guys can debate amongst yourselves with all of this. So Joe, what did you vote for?
Secret Wars.
I imagine Tyler's vote's going to be for Secret Wars as well.
I love both those lines, and Street Sharks was a great Turtles knockoff, but I'm probably going to say Secret Wars also.
Yeah,
I think it's a great line, and I loved Dr. Doom's Tower of Doom playset. I just thought it was a simple, cool playset.
With me, I never owned any Street Sharks. I've thought about picking some up, but
they're a great toy.
They look great. Secret Wars, I didn't get when they were new, but obviously flea markets around here were kind of just covered in these things. So I'm gonna go with Secret Wars as well. So I will go ahead and move that forward.
So Street Sharks receives the death touch from Spider-Man and Dr. Doom.
And now I get to
What the hell is a dim Mac?
Now I get to mess
it
with
is.
this.
Yeah, they got the dim Mac, Death touch.
All right, well, we will move on. Do you guys want to just go all the way down on one side and then go all the way down on the other side?
Hit
sure.
One side,
all right. Yeah. Well, our next matchup is one that we condensed because in the other bracket they had Batman the Animated Series. What was the other one that was in there, Tyler?
They had the Toy Biz Batman 89 figures, which was just 3 figures, and then you have the Dark Knight collection, which was just all 89 based with vehicles and the color changing Joker and stuff. Batman Returns.
We decided to just sort of because to me, all of that runs together in the same small amount of time for me collecting this line. So we have the Toy Biz 89 Batman plus all the Kenner stuff that followed with the animated series going up against Captain Planet, which I had a Captain Planet figure, didn't have any of the Planeteers. Watched the cartoon, thought it was okay, but this is one of those easy squashes for me. I'm gonna move Batman ahead to the next round.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched Captain Planet, but I never liked the cartoon. I know I might be hated on that, but whatever. And as for Batman, I didn't collect either of these lines, but I would just choose Batman. And I was just gonna say you moved it over. I was gonna say, hey, could you squirt?
Yeah. I wasn't. I was like, oh shit, I need to move it over here, and not keep it right
into
there.
The next right. But me Batman because I didn't collect no Cap. I didn't collect either, but I just did not want those Captain Planet toys ever.
I watched Captain Planet. I thought the villains were cool, but I found the show to be too preachy.
Yeah.
And especially during that time where people were just losing their shit over trying to oversaturate the media with save the earth and don't pollute, which, yes, I'm all for that. But it came off as a very obnoxious mission statement. I mean, you couldn't get away from it when I was in elementary school back then. Captain Planet was a byproduct of that. And I thought, I always wanted to see more Captain Planets. The hell with the Planeteers.
Yeah.
Me and my brother each had 2 of the villains. And that was really about it.
The theme song is catchy as all hell, though.
It's catchy, and I liked Captain Planet, but he always would show up at the tail end of the show because they got to unite. If they couldn't do it, then here comes Captain Planet. But Duke Nukem, Vermin, Scum, they were cool villains. And I like the
Nathan
movie.
Already put Batman over.
I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of respect, just so Batman can go by and kick Captain Planet in the nuts, and then Joker pisses in his face. It's Batman 89 all the way here, people. God, almighty, But the point is to show respect, because everything we have on here, I do like in some form or another. I may like it minute, but I respect it. And Captain Planet does have a following. It really does, and I respect that.
There was that one Captain Planet figure that I think, what was it? If you dumped him in water, he would change. He would look like he was covered in sludge. and pollution.
Yeah,
I neat ideas. I like that they did stuff like that back then. That especially like we are.
It didn't make me want to go recycle though. I'm just like, I just want to watch Captain Planet fight the villains. Like the hell with them. Where am I going to put this plastic bottle? I don't give a shit. Where's the action?
You should give a shit in a way, but I see what you're saying.
This is my 6-year-old mindset.
I know.
Like I just
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, don't pollute people because I get pissed off when I see people throwing garbage on the side of the road. I just want to beat the shit out of them.
Man, they remember the powerful commercial where there's like the littering and there's like the Native American guy that's standing there in the
and that was like an old 70s commercial too, and they were still playing.
I was gonna say a side note on that. It was actually an Italian guy playing the role of a Native American. That was an Italian guy who was in that commercial. Just a fun little fact, I guess.
Well, we had to do like a reenactment and have Joe play it.
Have a little tear right here on my ass.
Tear down his modular face.
What you guys don't know, and even Tyler missed this because Tyler went to the bathroom before he did the show. Joe was like, "Look at this," and he took his hood off, and I saw Joe's hair. He's like, "My hair's getting long, man." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." But Joe wants to get a haircut. You should just cut it yourself.
Yeah,
just cut it yourself.
That'd look great.
All right. In the next round, we have Monster in My Pocket going against Pee-wee's Playhouse. This might be a tough one for some people. I know that Pee-wee's Playhouse can like annoy some people when they watch it because it's just.
Oh, I love that damn show. Boy,
it's a masterpiece.
I love Pee-wee's Playhouse. The Monster in My Pocket, I never collected, knew nothing about. I mean, I'm saying Pee-wee's just because I love watching the show. I never had any of the toys. But if I was to have some of the toys, I'd love it. I know you, Nathan, have everything.
I have the complete set and the Playhouse. I got all of it. It is complete. I have it on display upstairs. So yeah.
Okay. So I picked
my
Pee-wee.
vote would be for Pee-wee as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Monster in My Pocket was an awesome line, and I did collect what I could get because obviously back then we were kids. There were so many options that you really had to kind of pick and choose what you wanted to devote the $3 to $5 that you were given or was allowed to purchase. And I did buy some Monster in My Pocket. I never got to play the video game, but I remember it was featured on Nick Arcade, which I was like, I want to play that game. But it's awesome.
It's not too bad. I want to say I played that on a Beyond Retro drunk video game stream once, and I enjoyed it. It's fun for what it is. And I had a few of these as well, but I just have way more memories tied into those Pee-wee figures. So,
yeah, and I never owned any of the Pee-wee figures, but I remember seeing them at Kmart, and my brother had got the Globey and Randy 2-pack because a lot of them came with two characters in a bundle, and I always wanted to know what that Playhouse was like. And even though Pee-wee's Playhouse is not the action-centric toy lines like the vast majority of these, we just kind of felt like he should be represented. So as much as I enjoyed Monster in My Pocket, the wonders of Pee-wee's Playhouse, he's going to take his scooter and just steamroll over, the Medusa monster and anybody else that gets in his way from Monster in My Pocket.
I'll get that.
There goes Pee-wee.
I'll get that moved over here. What was I going to say? I had a thought in my brain and then it just immediately went away. All right, well, whatever. We'll move. This matchup's going to be tough. We have Mask going against Bravestar.
So you picture Matt Tracker stepping into the KUMITE room with Marshall Bravestar tipping his cap to him before they begin battle.
I am a completely on the outs here, which I know you guys picked on me before about this. I never watched a single episode of Mask. I knew nothing of the toys. I only have a memory of Bravestar, and that's why I'm saying Bravestar. I know nothing about Mask, and I know that's going to shock. Well, it ain't going to shock nobody. Everybody knows I don't watch that stuff. I don't know anything about Mask. Nothing. I never watched it. I know nothing.
I didn't watch the cartoon as a kid because I never had access to it. I never saw it on TV. I barely saw any of the VHS tapes. I had some of the toys though, and I played with those toys. I got them for Christmas. I think Christmas '87 from my grandparents. I think it was late
just
Christmas.
Vehicles? Not to sound stupid because I know nothing about them. Are they?
Well, they're various vehicles that would turn into war vehicles. You push it. I had like a Matt Tracker's Speedster or Indy car. Whatever, it was a yellow and blue one, and you push the button on the top, and the sides would spring open and make wings with weapons. The wheels would pop back to be.
I'll be honest, your description. I mean, would make it sound awesome. Like, if I was to have both of those lines as a kid and play, I'd probably pick Mask, but I still am just saying Brave Star because I know nothing about Mask.
That's why we told you. That's why I told you should have Googled some of these before we did it. I like getting an honest opinion.
I wanted to get you but I wanted to give my honest, on-the-fly opinion. So I know Mask.
So that way, people in the chat, if you're mad, if whoever wins this particular match, you have to blame it on Joe's his reason for voting.
Mask. I think this will go to Mask because I know you probably will pick Mask, and so will Nathan because it sounds awesome. But I'm just saying Brave Star because it's all I knew.
Well, I'm going with Brave Star because I always had a great passion for Brave Star. I only had the Brave Star figure, but I remember Justin Twine, who Nathan knows, had Tex Hex as a kid. That was the only time I ever saw him, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want Tex Hex! I want Sandstorm." I remember seeing him at the Family Dollar down the road from where I currently live right now when I was like 4 years old.
Figures too, Brave Star.
They were humongous. They came with the comic book and everything. So I was over the moon for Brave Star, but I never saw the cartoon as a kid. I had to buy like a VHS tape from Big Lots in like the late '90s for like $1 or something like that. So I love Mask, but I'm sorry, Brave Star. Pulls out his blaster and just like takes out Matt Tracker's vehicle right there on the spot, and Miles Mayhem goes running away as Tex Hex chases after him.
Sorry, Nathan. I know Nathan was gonna pick Mask.
I'm gonna pick Brave Star as well. Just
okay.
I think what it boils down to in this battle, because I didn't collect either of these as a kid, don't remember watching them when I was a kid. It falls in line with me looking at it through eyes now, as you can hear Tyler glurp away there. That I think you're looking at similar price points, but Brave Star, the figures are humongous, and I feel like you just got more for your money for that. And guys, I know what you're probably thinking right now. It's like, well, it's been 3-0 on all of these so far. It will get tougher, I promise.
Well, and this is all like, we did not discuss these in advance. Like,
nope.
I just helped Nathan set the matches. I didn't see where they fall in the bracket. I just said, here, and he actually switched up, I think, some of these. I think 1 or 2 of them or something like that, just kind of glancing at them, I think.
I did.
But it was all just kind of random. We did not discuss who was going to beat who. It was just like, I went down the list and just said, here, put these two together. Not knowing what Joe's going to think or what Nathan thinks.
Right.
So everything is random. So what you're seeing right now is just an actual, it's a shoot. It was magic.
It just makes me think of that Ultimate Warrior promo.
Ultimate Warrior shoot. That's what I was referencing.
So next up, this is a weird, interesting matchup. We have Kevin Costner's Robin Hood and the Prince of Thieves line from Kenner from the 90s that I remember specifically going to the mall and getting that Kevin Costner from KB and having to...
I did the same thing. That's the exact same place I got that
And I remember, like, walking with my mom into that Dollar Tree that was also in there, and, like, Bryan Adams was playing in the store. I don't know why that memory stuck with me, but we have Kevin Costner's Robin Hood going against Black Star.
I never watched Robin Hood with Kevin Costner because I never liked him as an actor growing up. Like anytime I seen a movie with him, I was like, I don't want to watch it. So I still haven't seen it. It might be a great movie. So I'm saying Black Star because I had some figures and it's all I know. So Black Star.
I mean, when it comes to Prince of Thieves, that movie's great, but to me personally, everybody else is awesome in that movie, and Costner kind of like. I know people rag on because he's the only one in the movie not using an accent. He's just being Kevin Costner.
Which, as a kid, I didn't think anything of it. As an adult, like, I clearly see it. But, I mean, he does a very genuine performance as Robin. He just doesn't have the accent. So you can't, like, I get it. Like, I can't defend that. But the movie's so damn good, it's still my definitive version of Robin Hood. Like if it stunk and didn't hold up, I'd have to admit it. But it's a badass film. It's so damn good, especially the theatrical cut. Which for Joe, there's 2 different cuts. The director's cut is like a different film altogether, which is just as good. But yeah, we did. That was just kind of one of those movie lines. We just I loved as a kid. I only had 1 figure, but wanted more of, and I just thought it'd be fun to represent it, but I'm like, oh my god, like Black Star. I only had stickers. I had Black Star stickers as a kid, and that was I thought it was a He-Man knockoff. The puffy ones, yeah.
Yeah,
I got them for my birthday when I
yeah.
was 6.
Yep,
And
still got
I thought they were a He-Man knockoff, but I thought they were really cool looking. Like, this is like He-Man. This is really cool looking. I don't know who they are, but they're cool. But Nathan, you got a choice because I don't know what to do on this one yet. I really don't.
I had a figure from Robin Hood. I did not have any Black Star.
I do have the Sherwood Forest playset over here,
which is just
like the pinnacle.
Which is just basically the Ewok playset, right?
Yeah.
They just reuse
upgraded a little bit.
We're gonna have a first different one here. I have a feeling you both are gonna say Robin Hood, and that's good because it's things you collected. I think that's where this might go.
I think I know where I'm gonna vote. I'll let Tyler do his first.
He just told you to do it.
But as I grow older, the Black Star is a really awesome line. I like the cartoon a lot. It's a very primitive cartoon, but it's an enjoyable one. I love the figures. I would love to see. I want to see Kevin draw more Black Star. I've seen Axel draw Black Star, I think, once, and I just would love to see more of it done. So, I'm going to have to say Black Star.
Okay.
I'm kind of in the same boat, but to make it a little different, I'll say Robin Hood, just because I collected it. But regardless, Black Star moves on.
Black Star moves on.
And I think it's
we don't have anybody that we're just gonna completely because we did have a few of those set up, but everyone in here is a very line that we all are just like so.
I think it's where was it in the chat here? Oh, Zen Brown, you guys left out Dino Riders for Robin Hood. No, Dino Riders is in here.
Dino Riders, dude, we are not morons here, man. It is in here. Believe me. I will say Jason the Will Warriors is not in here. Robotech's not in here.
Discussed. It was on the
table. It was discussed.
But ultimately, we left it out to put a couple other different ones in there.
And one of these we deliberately put in for Joe's sake, which hopefully he'll get it when we get to it here.
All right, we'll have to see on that. Okay.
Next up, we have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers taking on Inhumanoids. Inhumanoids, I did not own as a kid, but I did have quite a few Power Rangers. So this could.
For me, I hated Power Rangers. It was on before I'd go to school. It annoyed the hell out of me. I had no desire to watch the show. I definitely didn't want the toys. Inhumanoids, I had some of them toys, so for me it's easy. Inhumanoids.
I knew nothing of Inhumanoids other than I think seeing something about it somewhere as a kid because I didn't see any of the cartoons of it. I sure as I didn't see the toys. I remember seeing references. I think they had like a coloring book or something that had Metlar on it or something. But then, of course, I was at the right age when Power Rangers first came out. And I think after about season 2, I was sick of it. I was like, God, this show's lame.
And it does not hold up at all.
Oh, my God. It's how that fan base has continued on with people our age, I do not know. I mean, because watching the overacting when they're selling, being hurt, and they're just like grabbing their chest like they're going into cardiac arrest. And, I have fond memories of it at that time, but that is a show that is not in my collection. I have no intentions of ever rewatching that show again. But Inhumanoids is badass. I still to this day don't have a single toy from that line, but I love the 3 Inhumanoids: Tendril, Metlar, and shit. The third, I can't remember. It's got the Biohazard. I'm sorry, guys, if I can't remember his last
good.
name.
I just want Grim 2 to let me know why he keeps just typing boo in the chat room. I don't know what that's towards.
Well, that's what he does. He shits on everything.
I know. I made a point because someone posted something in the group. It was one of those death battles, and then here comes Grim 2. It's just like, those things are trash. And the guy's like, wait.
Oh, they are. I can't stand those bullshit YouTube videos that people put together.
I mean, I get it, but whatever. And the guy was just like, take it back. He's like, oh, well, where's that? And I'm like, you just assume he hates everything, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, but no, Grandbot, please, for anybody who posts any more of those, not to attack the person who did it, but I don't like those videos either. I don't. I can't stand them.
And Papa Hood 69 also said, no, Robotech, oh my God, a crying face.
No, we took that out for Pee-wee's Playhouse, you'll be happy to know.
That was my doing, so apologies, Papa Huts.
Well, he asked, I'm like, I have no ties to Robotech. I was given one toy that was like a leftover birthday present from the 80s in the 90s. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a cool 80s toy. I seem to recall something about that, and I never played with it after that.
So Papa Huds was the one that posted that video, so
Yeah, not a fan of that stuff. No offense to you there, Bob, but I find them to be,
Is what it is. Oh, Grim 2 says the Power Rangers trash. So I guess Grim 2 actually does like something, and it's Power Rangers, unfortunately. Anyway,
well, who would have thought that?
I'm gonna go ahead and move Inhumanoids in as well because I mean I had Power Rangers. I used to play in the backyard and pretend I was one. I had the Morpher, had all that stuff. My friend, whatever, Joe. My friend.
I love King Sphinx. I thought he was awesome.
My friend had all the Zords. This was one thing I wasn't quite so lucky to just have all the stuff. It was basically just the core Power Rangers, a few select other figures and that. But and Humanoids, definitely for sure. Sorry, Grandpa.
All right.
I'm assuming, Tyler,
some of these logos, just to let you know, I couldn't even tell with some, so that's why I'm waiting. When you say some of these things, because it's blurred for me, or
I know.
just
because I know it's tiny, but that's just to get it.
No, that's fine. I understand. That's the only way you could fit it. I got it. Because I'm trying to figure what's going to be going up against Mad Balls here in a second.
What's going up against Mad Balls is another movie tie-in. This is the Terminator 2 series from Kenner. Which it
definitely is going to be
different. You guys were like, oh, we got rid of Robotech, so I could put in Pee-wee's Playhouse. The reason that Terminator 2 is in here is Tyler's like, well, we got Rambo, and we got this. We have to have Arnold in this bracket. And I'm like, do we, though? But anyway, there it is.
That's how I said it, too.
Yeah, that's exactly how it sounds.
Well, I definitely picked Mad Balls. I loved Mad Balls, those little suckers. And I remember going in some of the dollar stores where they had these knockoff ones that I'd get to. I love them suckers. They even had like football ones. So my favorite was Slobulus. I don't know. I like that character. And plus I used a mini one from a mini figure to make Breakdown up and back of me. So I'm going with Mad Balls.
All right. Tyler, where do you stand?
I never owned any of the Mad Balls, but I always wanted the baseball. That was the one that always stuck out to me.
Mimi or whatever?
With his tongue sticking out. Like I don't know what it was, but I just always wanted that one. But I never saw them in stores, but I was aware of them. Yeah. So I always had this kind of like, I missed out on Mad Balls kind of thing. Terminator 2 was a big damn deal when that movie came out. And when the figures were advertised on TV, I couldn't wait to get the detachable Arnold with the different arms you could put on there, the spike that comes out of his knuckle. That's the only one I had from that line, which was a lot of toy lines. But it was such a memorable toy line. Now that I think about it, like I kind of almost feel like, oh shit, man. Nathan, what do you got to say here?
This might be surprising, but I'm gonna put my vote for Mad Balls. So I'm gonna knock your precious Terminator out because that's not even.
Well, and that's why I was hesitant because I felt like Mad Balls is such a memorable line. More so than Terminator, even the Terminator 2. God, that was such a big deal. Trading cards and everything. You know what? I think logically, I might say Mad Balls though, because of the presence. That's my reason for it. That Terminator line was awesome, but I have to give the edge to Mad Balls. Not decide, but I'm like, if I want Terminator, I'd say Terminator, and you just have to take the death touch from the crazy baseball, whatever his name is.
I think it was Screaming Meanie or something, but
something like that. Yeah.
I think we should have swapped T2 out for Last Action Hero figures.
Well, we could have done that. Why didn't you suggest that? Well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Well, I don't know. I didn't have any of those figures. I have a complete set now, but I didn't have any of those as a kid either.
Oh man.
I see those at flea markets a lot. Believe it or not, the Last Action Heroes.
They're not that. They're not. They used to be somewhat collectible back in like the '90s, where like Benedict was like the most like sought after. But now, I mean, they're all pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But it's a great looking toy line. All the Jack Slaters and stuff. That's something. That's a franchise I wish we'd gotten of a Jack Slater franchise with Benedict and the Ripper and stuff. But all right.
Yeah. Well,
Mad Balls gives the death touch.
What do we got next, Tyler? I'll let you go ahead.
We have got, Joe's biggest arch nemesis from his childhood, G.I. Joe, a real American hero. The Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander, Destro, Tomac, Zaymot, Flint. That wonderful route from the early 80s to the mid-90s with the Ninja Force and Eco Warriors and so on and so forth against the mighty Centurions. And hands down, no offense to Centurions, had a coloring book. It's a cool-looking toy line, but G.I. Joe, man, Snake Eyes is triumphant for me.
I didn't collect either of these lines, and I know one I definitely didn't, but it's just because G.I. Joe, I mean, cool stuff out there. I've never watched a cartoon. Toys look cool. Never collected toys either, but I'm just going to go with G.I. Joe because I know zero about Centurion, so I'm just giving my honest opinion. I know nothing about that toy line at all.
I'm just going to go ahead and move it over now.
Just move G.I. Joe. Like, we don't even need to explain that one. Just put G.I. Joe.
Nathan's a diehard Joe fan, too.
Yeah,
so.
I grew up, G.I. Joe was my go-to morning cartoon for a while when it played on USA.
Cartoon Express,
so
man.
It was that and Turtles for me a lot. And my parents loved G.I. Joes because those things were cheap as all hell. You could find them anywhere. So it was a good way for them to...
That was something, if you wanted a toy, you could easily ask your parents for a G.I. Joe, and they had no problem.
Because those things were like $3.
Yeah. $3. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Up next, this is another one that's sort of condensed down. We have it says Alien versus Predator, but that was an easy logo to find. But this is like either the Aliens line or the Predator line from Kenner. They also had the Aliens versus Predator line as well, but it's just sort of a combination going against Bucky O'Hare, which is Playmates, and one that I feel like a lot of people they're like, I don't remember that at all. I barely remember, but I remember seeing Bucky O'Hare on the shelf, but I'll go ahead and vote first. I'm going to go, and to me this one's kind of tough as well because the Bucky O'Hare line has a lot of cool looking characters, but I'm gonna go with the Alien Predator Kenner line because just all kinds of crazy stuff that Kenner was doing back then. In a good way, for a kid's toy.
And it's almost in a way, it could be a no-brainer with, like you said, with that line, because who doesn't know the Predator and the Alien and all those figures would be awesome. Again, I collect neither of these. I do remember seeing Bucky O'Hare, and I thought that they had some cool-looking characters. And I think it's because I also seen later on just so many Aliens, Predators, figures of other sublines later coming out that maybe it's just right now would be rotting my head. So that's why I'm going to go kind of against it and just go with Bucky O'Hare because it was a different cast of characters, kind of weird with like Deadeye Duck and some of them. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
so
I love Deadeye Duck. Al the Gator.
Yeah, so I'm just going Bucky O'Hare because at least it was different and kind of caught my eye. I didn't collect either of them, but I'll say Bucky O'Hare.
Right on.
I loved both lines. I didn't get to see the Bucky O'Hare cartoon until many years later because it just wasn't available. I played the video game. It was hard as shit. I had one figure, Al the Gator, the alligator bounty hunter. But if you go look at those toys, I mean, they're a badass. They're colorful. Blinky, Willie DeWitt, who's actually a well-written kid on the show. Like, he's not an obnoxious, poorly voiced kid. Like, he's actually an enjoyable kid character that teams up with Bucky and his group against the Toads and stuff. They're all available on YouTube, I think, to watch most of the series, I believe. This one's really tough for me because Predator is my favorite film. And I love Bucky O'Hare because it's a toy line that's great. It just doesn't get enough attention. And I will say the Predator Alien variants are just overly saturated, and that's thanks to Dude NECA trying to sell the same thing over and over again.
Now that I'll change. You know what? I feel like Bucky O'Hare needs its due. I'm going to change my vote. I'm going to change my vote to Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm going to say Bucky O'Hare also. It's just, I think there's something about, because Alien Predator is so beloved by everybody, me personally, but there's something about Bucky O'Hare, it just kind of makes me, I just kind of want to show it a little bit more love at the moment, because it's such a great toy line. And it's cool that Joe knew who Deadeye Duck was. That's awesome. So yeah, it looks like Bucky O'Hare and his crew have taken out Alien and Predator on their spaceship. Deadeye Duck, locked in, took them all out, dude.
So a little bit of a surprise.
This next one.
Well,
I'm sorry. I was gonna say on this next one, do we need to even do it? Could you just put Turtles forward on this next one?
I just have to say, because I love the Willow toy line, and I got the toys before I got to see the movie complete. If you don't know that story, I can tell it. But I saw Willow in theaters and had to get up and leave because I was traumatized by the Death Dogs chasing after damn it. Wait, I'm not moving on till I get this right. And Laura Dannon, son of a bitch. God, I got the movie poster in my room. Yes, so I was traumatized by that because my little brother had just been born, so we had to get up and leave. So I got the toys that Christmas, and then saw the movie when it finally came out on VHS. And I love the Tonka Toy series. The movie's the best fantasy film ever made. But I just wanted to see it on there, and I didn't pair them up with the juggernaut that is the Mighty Turtles. That was Nathan's doing.
Yeah.
So
he had Willow going against Robin Hood, I think. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And if you guys are worried about there being too many like movie toy lines in this bracket, that is all. You can also blame Tyler for that one too. Because I was like, do we have too many movie line toys on here? He's like, no, it's great. So
I'm sorry, but like Dick Tracy and Karate Kid are very reputable toy lines, aside the fact that they were based on a movie. So anybody in the chat room or listeners down the line who listen to this, like, you can't argue against Dick Tracy or the Karate Kid. Willow, it's a minute line, but you know what? I don't have to defend myself, damn it.
Anyway,
the point is they're on here. Next round, yes, Turtles yes,
on.
They will crush Willow. Yes, Turtles moves on.
Up next, which is probably, I think, the smallest logo I have on here. It's GoBots going against Food Fighters. I had some Food Fighters. I thought that was an awesome looking line. It was gnarly, and it has 90s all over it. But I'm gonna go ahead and put my vote in for GoBots, just because.
And I never had any of the Food Fighters. I had and still have one GoBot. I have Leader 1, and for me. Yes, and I thought it was pretty cool. And also, for me, growing up, my buddy, I told you, he had every Transformer, and I felt like a complete moron. I was like, I do not know how to do these. But for some reason, he also had GoBots. I could do them quick. So I was like, I got to get one of them. And I did sure, they might not have been in-depth and are, with as much transformation as Transformers, but I still thought they were cool, and I'll just say GoBots because I still got my Leader 1.
Food Fighters, I remember seeing the commercials for that as a kid. I only had one. I had the French fry. And that's a cool looking toy line.
And the vehicles were great too, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just a fun line. Like they're expensive on eBay if you go and look. They're pretty pricey these days.
I'm not surprised at all.
I
did find a print of the French fry with an Uzi on TeePublic, and I have never been able to find it again because I was going to put it on a tank top. I have not been able to find it again because they have to reword stuff.
I don't know if I still have any of these figures that I did have, or if we got rid of them in a yard sale years ago when I get all of my shit from the storage at my parents and from their attic.
You still have those card backs, don't you?
I still got the card backs, but I don't know if I have the figures anywhere. I know for sure that they're not in the attic, but maybe they're in a tote at the storage building, so we'll see.
All right, so GoBots is moving forward?
Yeah. GoBots is moving on, dude. GoBots does not get enough love and attention.
Now I can actually make that logo a little bit bigger, and you guys can make out what it is.
Yeah, I can get a good look. Because I had no clue. I was like, what is that? I kept going like this, trying to get closer. Like, I can't make it out. But let's see how it is once you make it slightly bigger. Yeah, I
actually had to defer to the bigger printing that I have of this so I could see what the other thing was because it's kind of small as well. Up next, we have from Galoob the WCW action figures going against Muscle.
Muscle, God, oh man, I still got tons of them downstairs. Love Muscle. Didn't collect a single WCW, nothing against the figures, but oh my God, those were so addicting. I mean, I just got a bag full of them. I still have them. I should try to set them up. Loved them, and then I liked when they get into different colors, but I just liked there was so much detail and attention to these itty bitty little figures. Sure, they weren't articulated, but who cares? They look badass. So yeah, I'm going with Muscle.
I had several Muscle figures and one WCW Galoob figure. I had Sting.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And Nathan's got the entire collection because he had more access to getting those.
I am missing Butch Reed and Brian Pillman. But I have the Z-Man, Tom Zink, so that...
And the ring with the cage.
Ring with the cage.
Something I never saw as a kid. And they weren't articulated either, so you had to kind of pretend that Sting can give the Scorpion Deathlock to Ric Flair, stuff like that. So a lot of imagination had to be used here.
With Sting, it was a lot of suplexes, but at least with Lex Luger, You guys can't really see me because the camera's a little small. He was in a flexing motion, so he could like DDT people all the time. Yeah, good stuff. My rings got quite a few dings on the mat for just some of the paint wearing off. I wasn't like playing too hard, but it was hard enough to ding up the mat a little bit.
Damn, you have so many. I think it's a no-brainer. You have to be saying WCW because I couldn't even picture you saying muscle.
I'm going to go with WCW because just tons of childhood memories attached to that line. And I feel like this, I'm at fault for this one probably being in here. But because in the old bracket, if you guys could see, they had WCW, which was more the Toy Biz line from '99 that had a lot of weird-looking guys in there. They had WWF, which was more Jax-oriented, and we have represented here the Hasbro line and the LJN line separately. And they had the ECW line from San Francisco Toy Makers. So initially, we did have like a WCW, ECW San Francisco Toy Makers because they had the license to WCW in the mid-90s. Then it went to ECW, but I was like, nah, just put the Galoobs in there because that's the one that I have the biggest attachment to. But yeah, WCW.
And it's the most well done,
yes.
Honestly. Like, it cannot be argued. Those figure sculpts look amazing and still do. But I got to go with
muscle. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, I do. Like I love both those lines. I truly, and that's the hard part about this tournament is that there isn't a shitty line in here. But yeah, I got to go with muscle on that one.
Bastard.
That's a good man.
Backstabbing me like Ric Flair after he turns on Sting for the 50th time.
I turned heel. I turned heel.
I never understood how gullible Sting was. Like, he's the ultimate babyface in WCW, and any time, like, him and Ric Flair, he'd be like, we've been through all these battles, you need to come join us, join the Horsemen. They turn on him immediately, and they did that, like, twice. Or, like, when Flair's kicked out of the Horsemen, and Sting's like, all right, yeah, we'll face Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman. As soon as Flair gets tagged in, what does he do? Punches Sting in the face. He's so gullible. Anyway. Coming up next, we have Dino Riders, which is in this bracket going up against Rock Lords. Rock Lords, I know nothing about. I looked it up. They look really cool, but my vote easily going to go with Dino Riders. How can you go wrong with dinosaurs with weaponry attached to them? That's no-brainer.
This is one where I think that definitely Tyler is going to go with you, Nathan, but I go with Rock Lords because I still have some of my Rock Lords. I thought they were pretty cool. Especially when I would display them next to Stone Dawn and Rock On. I thought, hey, they could hang out. It's like there was more of the Comet Warriors. That's the only reason I did that. But
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I pick Rock Lords only for that. But I think I know what Tyler's going to pick.
Well, I mean, I had one Rock Lord as a kid. I was fascinated by them. I always wanted Magmar, the villain, the lead villain. I still haven't seen the Rock Lords movie, that the GoBots movie that introduced the Rock Lords. It was on YouTube for free at one point. I don't think it's on there anymore.
Dino Riders are cool as hell, though. They really are. Just I never had them.
Oh my god, I'm still in love with that toy line even to this day. Yeah. And the animated series is wonderful. So yeah, it's sorry Rock Lords, but the Dino Riders are going to just steamroll over you with the Diplodocus and the T-Rex and
I can see that.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, Krulos and Rasp and Hammerhead, Antar. Those are some badass villains in that show, man. Gee, Frank Welker doing his Krulos. Oh man, so cool. If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the first episode on YouTube right now, like the VHS version, not the syndicated version. Watch the VHS version of the first episode of Dino Riders. Badass, man.
Yeah, it's cool watching the chat because on some of these, it just eyeballing it looks like split in half. In terms of what people are voting for.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's just it's good to see people passionate about who we pick, whether they hate what we picked or.
I mean, we are getting a little flack for leaving Jason the Wheeled Warriors out of this thing.
Well, and I apologize for that one. I wasn't like pushing not having in here, but I just kind of feel like that's one we could probably
Well, there's so many lines you can't get them all. Like the longest part is going to be us just going through this first round. Once we hit the next round, it's easy because we gave our feelings and everything. So the next rounds will be quicker. But yeah, there's so many toy lines you can't put them all in.
Well, we kind of knew at some point. Well, we would probably miss something, and most of that,
sure,
is what it is.
And some of it, we actually tried to keep some of the ones that the original Toy Fair. Tussle had, and then we got to our you know what? We're not going to keep Dragon Ball Z, and we're not going to keep some of we're just going to leave in just to get steamrolled, but we're like, nah, let's make more room and give some prime time space to something that deserves it.
All right.
Coming up next.
Well, I can't even tell what this next round.
Coming up next, we got Micronauts going against Dick Tracy. This one's easy for me. Didn't have any Micronauts. Love Dick Tracy, the film. The Playmates figures are great. It sucks that a lot of them didn't come with their trench coats, but I have since remedied that, so it's awesome. I'm sure Zen Brown is already having an aneurysm over there because he's like, what, another movie toy line? But I'm going to go ahead and move Dick Tracy. That'll be my vote.
I'm Dick Tracy for me because I know nothing of Micronauts. Nothing. That's sad to say, but nothing. So I'm just saying Dick Tracy because that's the only thing I know.
Well, Dick Tracy for me because I love that movie to this day. I love that toy line, and the Micronauts I wasn't aware of until like the 2000s when a lot of these products were being brought back in comic books, and my brother really got into Micronauts. But other than that, I mean, it's a respectable line, but I didn't, it's just, I'm sorry, man. Dick Tracy was a very memorable toy line. You can go to Pixel Dan, you can go to Retro Blasting. They all praise the hell out of Dick Tracy. So if you don't like the fact we have another movie toy line, I do not give two shits.
Here we go.
Because it's a damn good toy line and a highly collectible toy line. So
there you go.
Yeah. You don't have to like everything here. But
Playmates back then was just churning out all kinds of good stuff, like just really colorful toys that even if you didn't know what it was, just you're walking down that toy aisle as a kid, it would pop to you. And that was probably the inspiration behind that. Up next, we have
WWF.
We have the Hasbro WWF figures going against starting lineup.
WWF. That's all I'd say. I don't even need to explain nothing. Just, that's it.
I collected both of these. I was really into sports in the 90s, so I have a shitload of starting lineups that aren't worth dick.
I knew that was coming. I was hoping it would.
I'm gonna go with the Hasbro's because, I mean, if anything at all, it's because WCW didn't make it to the second round. So some wrestling properties got to make it in.
Well, we still got LGN on the other side too, but cue Real America, man, because WWF Hasbro's moving on to the next round.
It's
Hogan took the baseball bats and broke them over his leg, man.
It's a shame. The starting lineups have that detriment. Like, you couldn't collect an entire team. If you had a favorite team, it was only one player from each team comes out in the line. Sometimes you'd be lucky and get a couple players from one team. You basically just had to display them individually. They couldn't really interact with each other. It doesn't make any sense if you wanted to recreate like a baseball game or whatever, because each one of them has got like the ball in their hand. Like if you try to do it with basketball, it wouldn't work because most of them have basketballs in their hands. So academic from there.
But they were still cool because I collected them when I got into basketball, so they were still great figures. But against the might of the WWF from the early '90s, late '80s.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bo Jackson.
Up next, we have the Karate Kid going against the Toxic Crusaders. Another Playmates line, another colorful Playmates line.
Of course, I loved the Karate Kid movie. Did not enjoy the figures at all. Had some of the Toxic Crusaders. No, sorry. So I'm just going Toxic Crusaders because I just did not like those Karate Kid figures. So, Toxic Crusaders for me. Love the movie of Karate Kid, but not the figures. Wasn't a fan. Sorry.
Well, I had one Karate Kid figure. I had Sato as a kid. I remember seeing the tournament playset at Rose's and desperately wanting that. And I think it's still a great line. I think the figure sculpts are pretty good. I think the playset is. There's two playsets in this line. They're amazing. But those Toxic Crusaders, man, left an impression. I only had Toxie as a kid. My brother had Bonehead, and that was it. But always left an impression on me. The cartoon is good. The movies are batshit crazy. But I got to go with Toxie on this one too, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Toxic Crusaders as well. If you guys can't really see, there we go. You can see Dick Tracy and let me get my how do cameras work? I got Dick Tracy and the Toxic Crusaders on the bottom shelf there. I actually have some of the Karate Kid line in behind here on this top shelf, but yeah, I'm gonna go Toxic Crusaders.
Nathan probably has everything from this line. So, all right. Well, we got this side done. We're going to go to the other one. I'm sure he's got something and everything.
Damn, Joe.
Spoiled little punk.
Hey, you had the attorney place it. I don't want to hear it.
You guys want to... Let's... Well, yeah, I was going to say maybe we could start from the bottom and go up, but yeah, let's just...
Oh, hey, mix it up.
All
Mix
right.
it up.
We'll go from the bottom. We have The Tick going against the Toy Biz Marvel line. We're talking...
Toy Biz Marvel. Toy Biz Marvel.
Joe's just like,
me too.
Hurry this up, guys. That's what Joe's doing right now.
No, I just know the ones that, oh my God, I just know the ones I didn't like absolutely at all, but yeah, I'm going to go with Marvel.
I love the Tick cartoon, the toys, but nothing. It's gonna take a lot to beat the 90s Marvel toy with the X-Men and Spider-Man. Marvel superheroes, hands down, was something I collected. Oh God, I was so many great memories of collecting that toy line. It was a juggernaut back then, and sorry, Tick, you and Arthur have been clipped by Wolverine and Spider-Man.
It's funny that Zen Brown says, with all these movie toys on here, I'm surprised the Swamp Thing toy line isn't on here. It is. It's just hard to see.
But it's based on the animated series, not
series,
the movie, though.
It'll actually be coming up after this next one, which is Transformers against the Computer Warriors, which I knew...
Who? Transformers?
I knew no. Well, look, if you guys go and Google Computer Warriors, those figures look pretty cool. I'm not I know nothing about it, but they look pretty awesome. I like the packaging a lot too.
Yeah.
All right, Transformers.
I had one Computer Warrior playset, which was the book that opened up was a rocket station. It was badass, but yes, obviously Autobots and Decepticons are going to crush Computer Warriors. But damn it, Computer Warriors. For anybody who likes it, they need to be part of this tournament, So yeah, but Transformers, it's kind of hard to pick Computer Warriors over the Decepticons.
Up next, and both of these are hard to see. It's Chuck Norris against Swamp Thing.
Well, this is the first time I've hesitated. Damn,
both really awesome lines.
I think I had a Chuck Norris figure. Never had any of the Swamp Thing figures. I mean, I did like the cartoon. I did like it. I just didn't have any of the figures, and I bet they were really great. But
they were badass toys.
Oh, they probably were awesome. But I mean, I was always into Chuck Norris, and I like I said, I had one figure though. But I'm just going with Chuck Norris because never had any of the Swamp Thing figures. But I bet they were awesome though.
Nathan.
It's a tough one. I have a couple of the Swamp Thing figures, but when you think about it, it's a lot of Swamp Thing and a lot of just variant Swamp Thing. So I'm gonna give my vote, I think, for Chuck Norris. You can't go wrong with ninjas and Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Swamp Thing. Me and my brother had several of the figures. I even had one of the vehicles too. And I love that Nathan's got the symbol where Swamp Thing's arm extends out. That was one of my favorite figures as a kid. But cartoon was fun too. But Chuck Norris and the Karate Commandos, Christmas '87. I got 3 Chuck Norris figures that same Christmas Eve. Wow. And the cartoon. Say what you want about it. It's there's a lot more sillier cartoons out there. But I'm surprised it wasn't more successful. Like Chuck Norris in a cartoon where he's fighting a ninja organization, why is that bad? Why is it silly? But I hate what people like to make fun of Chuck Norris. So Chuck is going to defeat the mighty Swamp Thing and move on to the second round with his Karate Commandos.
All right. Yeah, this next bracket should be really interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna wait. So Nathan announces these.
Yeah,
two.
We have the Barnyard Commandos, which you know what? Well, I'll go ahead. I'll make a late substitution. We'll put Jason the Wheeled Warriors in this one. Let's do that.
Put anything in that.
Going against.
All right,
there's nothing wrong with Barnyard Commandos. Damn it.
Yeah, there's not.
I think I'm gonna pick that thing. What's it? The mass? Yeah, I'll go with that Masters
going
against whatever that
going
is.
Against Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I'll give that one a shot. Why don't you put that forward?
You know what? I'm gonna give my vote for I'm gonna give my vote for Barnyard Commandos.
Oh, okay.
Well, we don't need. I mean, I love the sheep that dress like Rambo. It's a great toy line, but I'm sorry, nothing's gonna stand in the way of He-Man.
All right.
Not even the mighty pigs and the Rams.
Coming up next, we have Silverhawks versus the Sky Commanders.
Oh, Silverhawks, dear God, how could you not choose that? What an awesome cartoon. And then when it came to the toys, I mean, all those damn chrome figures, cool as hell. How could you not pick Silverhawks? Maybe you won't, but Silverhawks all the way.
I had Sky Commanders. I had a couple of them as a kid. I really liked the concept behind them. I liked the commercials. They were fun toys to play with for me. You know, set it up one end of the room, hang it up high on the other, and just like zip line guys down. It was a lot of fun. But I will also go with Silverhawks because it's looking at the standpoint of like what was more of a staple during that time, and it's easy between these two. It's academic.
Well, I didn't know of Sky Commanders until Nathan told me about it, but it is a cool concept. The cartoon looks pretty good too, but Silverhawks, man, partly metal, partly real, all badass.
Ah,
That's definitely.
there we go. Sometimes it wants to like click on something else. I'm like, no, damn it, can't do that. All right, up next, this is an interesting matchup. We have Captain Power going against Cops.
These I know are both things that you guys watch and know, and probably the toys. I know nothing about the toy lines for either of these. I don't even know what to say. I mean,
Not even Captain Power?
No, I don't know nothing about the toy line. That's terrible to say, but these are two that I hear people talk about a lot. Well, I admit it never had me go look online to see what the toys look like or anything. I don't know anything. I hope you guys both pick the same thing, because me it's like flipping a coin. I really don't know.
Well, would you like to defer your vote to the chat room?
Yeah, chat room, take my vote. So the first 5 people, whatever they say, that'll be my vote, because I don't know either of the toys.
Yeah,
so
already the chat room votes for Cops, and I'm gonna have to agree with them because the show is badass. If you've not watched Cops, check it out. It's really well done. The figures look really cool. I need to get more of those guys from eBay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Cops.
Oh, Cops, hands down. I like Captain Power. I had one Captain Power. I actually had Captain Power. I watched some of the show. It's a great concept. I'd love to see it expanded upon even more. I'd like to see more of it. It's a great toy line. But Cops, oh man, every day on the Cartoon Express in the mornings on weekdays was just devoted to Cops, man. Just a beloved show, and I'm glad to see people unanimously pick Cops in the chat room there. So kudos to you guys.
All well, they're
just the intro to the show alone will make you want to go out and beat some ass.
Spider-Rat said Captain Power in the midst of all the Cops, but yeah.
Oh, and that's cool because Captain Power's badass. Yeah. He's on here for a reason.
And speaking of things being on here for a reason to make it a little interesting on this side of the bracket, well, there's a lot of heavy hitters over here. But we have RoboCop going against the New Adventures of He-Man.
If this was young Joe, when I was growing up with the stuff, unanimously, I would have said RoboCop, because I had RoboCop at 209. I mean, just that was a thing. It was so damn hot in the day. But now, as I told you, as I got older, as much as I despised the New Adventures of He-Man figures, once I got them as an adult and started looking at them, I was like, wow, they put so much detail sculpting into these characters. They're not just using the same body over and over with different armors. Put a lot of love into that, and I can appreciate it. It's like, wow, these are some amazing sculpts, and they look great. So the kid version, I would have said RoboCop, but honestly now I do say shit. I say New Adventures of He-Man, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
I didn't lose you guys, did I?
You're still here.
Good. New Adventures of He-Man.
RoboCop was an awesome toy line. I only had one of that line too.
Or we
just said RoboCop.
Or we lost Joe. maybe he'll rejoin the call here. What was your vote for?
It's No Adventures of He-Man, of course, but no disrespect to the RoboCop toy line, like the Vandals and such. But got to go with No Adventures.
Yeah, there's Joe. He's back.
There. No problem. It's just when it falls, it must hit a button and shuts it off. But good. I knew I wouldn't be.
This one, honestly, kind of tough for me because I I have RoboCop. I have a couple of the villains. I got like the motorcycle accessory. I got the police car. At the same time too, I did have a couple new Adventures figures, which oddly enough, funny story. I think we told you guys at some point on the podcast one year I couldn't really afford to get people presents, and I went ahead and gave Tyler my childhood new Adventures figures. Well, he turned around this year and he's like, since you've been like collecting classics and getting all the vintage stuff, he gifted them back to me for my birthday. So it's cool to have those again. I'll go new Adventures, but this one was honestly kind of tough because I have sentimental value for both of these lines.
All right.
And RoboCop, I wish NECA would go back and do figures from the Kenner RoboCop line, like the Vandals, like Chainsaw, Dr. McNamara, and stuff like that, because that would be awesome to get, the rest of RoboCop's team, and just get, because like they did with the Alien and the Predator line and the Terminator line of doing like these throwbacks to the Kenner stuff. Like, why can't they do that with RoboCop?
It's probably just some sort of weird rights thing. I don't know. You'd have to ask Randy or whatever his name is from NECA. Which should we take the time really quick to tell a funny story that happened to set the table for you? Tyler was in Walmart and he ran into Kevin Sharp, and Kevin was like, hey, they had the 2-pack Raph and Casey. I bought one of them. Well, he bought it like the day before. Or was it earlier in the day?
I think it was that morning.
Right. So I guess he had come back to Walmart, ran into Tyler. He was like, "Hey, I bought one earlier. Go now." Because I guess you ran into him towards the front of the store.
In the back, we were actually looking at the toy. He was looking for G.I. Joe and the He-Man stuff. I was just wandering back there to see if there's anything cool.
So Kevin's like, go check it out. And Tyler goes over there, and there's nothing there. And what time was this?
It's like it's 6:30 in the evening.
And what Tyler didn't know at the time is I had went to that exact Walmart a couple hours earlier and saw the set and picked it up and bought it with the intention. I'm like, well, I did the scalper thing. I probably shouldn't have, but I wouldn't have seen it otherwise, I wouldn't think. Went ahead, picked it up for him, went to his house. I think it was getting dark, so it was probably about 8:30.
Yeah.
He answers his door, and I was like, hey, man, got something for you. He's like, oh, man. So it was pretty hilarious that he went to go look for that, and I had already bought it with the intention of giving it to him anyway. Figure cool. Fate.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, yes, Casey and Raph are probably on display in the other room there. So, thanks again, Nathan.
You're welcome. Joe's just like, who cares? Can we move on?
No, let's go.
Anyway.
I gotta take a shit and then I gotta throw up.
Sure did last
up next, we have Star Wars taking on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, there's
no offense to Star Trek. No.
From Playmates, those figures look great. They look like the characters they're supposed to look like and everything. I had a Picard back in the day, so it's all good. But yeah, my vote would be for Star Wars as well.
Is chat room mad at us for saying Star Wars over Star Trek there?
I doubt
no,
that.
I wouldn't think so. Up next, we have Thundercats going against, I got to defer to because it's kind of small, Supernaturals.
Supernaturals were cool, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Thundercats was just a line that I had a good amount of figures, not a lot, but that along with Sectars I had with Masters. So, Thundercats just too damn cool.
Yeah, Thundercats for me as well.
Thundercats. Supernaturals were badass because love the hologram gimmicks of the 80s,
sure.
Them and Visionaries. But sorry, Thundercats is in my pecking order of favorites. It's right after He-Man.
There you go. I don't know what the hell this next logo is.
Oh, this next one's going to be really interesting.
Up next, we have the DC Superpowers line from the 80s going against Battle Beasts. I honestly don't remember Battle Beasts at all. I really don't. I don't.
I still have some Battle Beasts, and they're cool as hell. And again, the Superpowers, well, they're good, but you know what? I think I had one of them. I'm just thinking, I'm going to say Battle Beasts because damn, those were some cool little suckers. So I'm saying
There
Battle
were
Beast.
so many of them.
Yeah, there was. I mean, just a ton. I think I had one from Superpowers. It's not knocking the line because, of course, it's amazing. I'm sure almost everybody probably in the chat room will say Superpowers, but I'm going with Battle Beast because I thought those were some cool ass little things, and I still have.
I gotta honestly just like look at them again.
I think you gotta hold them and appreciate them because sometimes just looking at them online.
Oh,
you might think,
okay. No. All right.
special.
Now I kind of have a vague memory of like the 2-packs and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the card art was beautiful, and the commercials were fun, and just so many animals. You know, you should think of any animal, and it's a Battle Beast. So I got to pick Battle Beast too because I didn't get, it's just I had such an affinity for that line as a kid. I didn't get into the DC stuff till '89. Not to say I wasn't into it, but because when they started re-releasing the Superpowers line in the that DC superheroes kind of spin-off line, which is kind of like reusing the same figures again, but. Battle Beast, dude. God, I was all about those things.
I'm going to go with DC just because that was a line that I collected as a kid. I got them well.
And it's a kick-ass toy line,
I got them
too.
after the fact, of course, or, you could look upon them maybe like Family Dollar and stuff towards the tail end. And it's funny, too, because the chat's kind of pushing a little more towards DC, but I lost my vote, so... Battle Beasts, we'll move on.
No, I don't have it by me. I thought I did. I was gonna grab something, but never mind. Okay.
Okay.
It's just cool. The fun thing is, I actually was working on a Superpowers carded Supergirl for somebody.
Oh.
So yeah, because they never had Supergirl. But
yeah,
all right,
I mean, if you get a chance at some point in the show, just go ahead and show that off. So sorry, guys, that wanted DC to push on to the next round. It's not going to happen. Up next, Joe will appreciate this. We have Visionaries going against Dungeons and Dragons.
That's the thing. I mean, the Dungeons and Dragons line it's another incredible line, and for people that are thinking, oh, is this like from the cartoon toys and stuff? Like, no, remember the cartoon didn't get we didn't get them in figure form. But Visionaries, I know that's really near and dear to so many people's hearts, but I mean, I'm just going Dungeons and Dragons because it's the only one I had of that I collected, and I still have Keelik, and I still have him carded, but I'm going Dungeons and Dragons just because I didn't have any Visionaries. They're great, just didn't have them.
I didn't own a single figure from either one of these toy lines, but I knew of Visionaries as a kid. I remember seeing them on the store shelves and stuff like that, and because they looked like G.I. Joes with holograms on their chest, like, oh my God, I want them so bad. So hands down, Visionaries. And the Dungeons line is awesome. I love the Fortress of Fangs playset. A lot of great looking characters, but you play that Visionaries theme song, man. It makes your nipples hard, dude. It's an amazing property.
That puts me in the hot seat then.
Yeah.
I had some Visionaries. They're really awesome. I like the gimmick. And there's part of me that wants to vote for Dungeons and Dragons just because DC got knocked out the round before.
It'll do what's near and dear. Something that you had. You had Visionaries. You'd have more of a connection.
Yeah, you could always defer to the chat room if you struggle there too, dude.
That's true. You know what? I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys have my vote on this one. You pick who you want.
Yeah, because I honestly don't picture many people that's listening ever really having the Dungeons and Dragons line. I mean, I just couldn't see that. I think that they are going to... I haven't seen yet, but I'm just assuming it has to be Visionaries. It is such a badass line. I just had it because, Dungeons and Dragons, because it was the things I collected and had. But, yeah, Visionaries, cool-ass concept and figures.
And beautiful card art. Oh, man.
How's
the chat responding quickly? Or
we got ooh.
A lot of Visionaries. I think Visionary.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah,
D&D.
It's kind of...
D&D. Oh, so far it's like tied.
Yeah.
Maybe. God, are you serious? Well, now it's 4-4. I think we have 4 D&D, 4 and 4 Visionaries. First person to 5. I guess we'll get it, right?
Well, Grim just commented Visionaries, so we will.
Oh, so there you go, Visionaries.
Yeah. And Daniel Kaufman just came in and said I said Visionaries earlier, so there we go. Up next, it's only fitting that the Ghostbusters would go against Beetlejuice.
I had 0 Beetlejuice, but damn, did I have a lot of those Ghostbuster figures, and I still got them suckers.
I mean, it's pretty much
it's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer, but the Beetlejuice line was pretty badass. I remember having the little, what was it? It was like the
tomb, like that you
you put the figure in and make him like disappear and everything.
Yeah. I got that for my birthday one year. Yeah,
but it's easy Ghostbusters for sure.
There you go.
Up next.
All right, next.
I don't know what's going against Voltron.
Up next.
Let's see what's up.
We have Voltron going against Bionic 6.
Voltron for me. Oh my god. I mean, first the cartoon, when I just think about, when they transform and form for Voltron, goddamn, did I get the chills as a back as a kid. But as for the figures, I did have some. I even have a crazy, it was a set that had a pencil sharpener hooked to his back, and his body was like almost erasers. Then there was one that was just a figure with a pencil sharpener, and I used to take it in school and I'd hide it. I remember opening the desk and like I'm just playing with Voltron when I'm done with my work. Of course, teachers seeing that, they take it, but Voltron, God, awesome. So I'm saying Voltron.
Bionic 6, man. God, I'm so in love with that cartoon and that toy line. I only had one figure as a kid, but watched the cartoon in the mornings, along with Thundercats and Silverhawks, are like ass early in the morning before going to daycare. So I love that cartoon. I love Dr. Scarab and his villain, especially Glove. Oh, I just gotta love that show so much.
All right, Nathan, you're the flipper. You might have that affinity if you're like how Tyler did growing up with that stuff. I could completely understand Bionic 6. People love
Bionic 6. I didn't really become super familiar with until Tyler and I started doing capes and commentaries. Voltron, I had a little bit as a kid. Little bit of knowledge. Had some curtains that I feel like my parents picked up at like a yard sale and tried to pass off as like Transformers to me somehow.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Sorry, Tyler. I'm gonna go with Voltron.
Shit, I just thought for sure Bionic 6 was going to move on. Damn it!
He almost had a reaction like in Christmas Story, like a crummy commercial. Son of a bitch.
That's how it feels right now. Like, cause I almost feel like this is gonna be a lot. At least Bionic 6 will move on to the second round. Like, I was blindsided by Joe's finish for Voltron, and I did not know Nathan's connection to Voltron at all. So he came back out with a steel chair and hit me over the back of the head.
Here's your
What
receipt,
Tyler was probably
motherfucker.
saying. Yep. Here comes, I think, what Tyler was saying. You guys threw in one for me. I can see it already.
Oh, no, actually, Mad Balls was the one for you. This was actually part of the original Toy Fair Tussle.
Oh, well then, good God. Oh, I'm sorry, Nathan, you got to announce it.
No. I just wanted to say that part of my decision, too, because it was overwhelming in the chat, that was Voltron.
What? People? What is wrong with you people over the Bionic 6? Are you out of your mind?
Up next.
He's like in the stream. Go ahead.
Up next.
I'm ready to cut a promo on all you guys right now.
Up next, we have basically what you would sort of consider a battle of the brands, because we have Todd McFarlane's Spawn figures going against Todd McFarlane's Movie Maniacs.
Oh, man, did I look God. And again, I have every single Movie Maniac. I remember sending off to get that it's the fish tank thing where it was Freddy versus Jason too, where it's blood splattered, and of course they misspelled Voorhees on the tombstone for Jason in that set. But man, did I love going to the store and looking for all of them. And eventually it seemed like they started going away from what I considered Maniacs. I was like, where's the horror ones? And I actually remember calling to their number asking when something's going to come out, and then they had a thing you could email to send messages. I was like, why are you calling all these other characters Movie Maniacs? Like Snake Plissken. I was like, what do you mean Movie Maniacs? Where's the horror element? And
why are you arguing against Snake Plissken? Like, that I have to call you out on. What the hell's wrong with you?
They replied back. They said, well, when we conceived the Movie Maniacs line, it wasn't just going to be horror characters. It means just anybody that might have an edge to them. That was their reply to me. So that's when you started just getting characters I wouldn't consider horror. Because how it started off horror. I thought that's what it was going to be. But does that mean I didn't like it? No. I still got my Snake Plissken in every one of those things. So Movie Maniacs all the way.
Yeah, Movie Maniacs for me too. I love the Spawn toy line from beginning to end, but Movie Maniacs was a whole new breed of passion when that line was announced and shown up in what was known at the time to be Software Etc.
Yeah.
Before it was GameStop.
Yeah.
I worked there. That was my first job, Software Etc.
I'm gonna go with Movie Maniacs as well. A lot of people were saying Spawn, believe it or not, but for me, it's like Spawn's great. The movie sucks ass. I can appreciate.
But the movie toys are great. I will say that movie toys were awesome.
But I can still, in a way, appreciate the movie, even if it's bad. I can still watch it and at least have fun with it.
Well, the makeup looked great. Special effects are not bad. It's just the shitty dialogue. God.
And Martin Sheen's over the top in that.
And he should have been awesome. That's the bad part. Martin Sheen should have nailed Jason Wynn. And Michael Jai White was a great Al Simmons. It's just shitty dialogue and not
even,
really fleshing
out.
Even
Leguizamo was all right.
Leguizamo looked spot on as Clown. Violator looked awesome. But Bulgy not moving his mouth and shit like that. It was just voiced by Frank Welker doing his Dr. Claw voice and a bunch of other things that were missing. But it's not a terrible movie. It's not Ghost Rider. It's not Batman and Robin. Yeah. Actually, I'd probably watch Spawn over Dark Knight Rises.
I would totally, after we're done with the show, I'd totally go watch that now. I have no problem checking out Spawn. But the reason that it tips to Movie Maniacs for me is just because Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Chucky, to have those guys in figure form and look as great as they did, you can't beat that.
There you go.
Up next, we have Rambo going against American Gladiators.
I only had one Rambo figure in American Gladiators, even though they had a cool jousting set and stuff like that. I never owned any of them. And so I don't know how much fun everybody had with them. I love the TV series, of course, but Rambo, it's just I have to pick Rambo. It's the only figure I had. I love all the movies. There's not a Rambo movie I did, from when they had, 1, 2, 3 back in the day. I didn't hate any of those movies because there's sometimes a series of movies where you're always going to have that one that you might think kind of sucks or you really hate. I don't know. Just Rambo for me. I never had any of the Gladiators.
I'm going to go Rambo as well. The American Gladiator figures are great. I love the little play sets and everything. That's a nice touch. But the scale of the Rambo figures, the variety, it's easy for me. Rambo. American Gladiators was essentially just repaints of, I don't know. There's just a distinction with the Rambo line for me.
Rambo line was a toy that haunted me as a child because I wanted the figures so bad and never saw them in store, but just knew of them. I watched the cartoon. I had some bedroom slippers. I had a toy gun from the I forgot what the name of the line was that I think LGN did some stuff, and then there was another toy line that released weapons and stuff.
So this was the time period too where the weapons were kind of realistic, and they had to they had to change the design of them because people were actually going and robbing banks with these things.
Yeah, it was. I had a machine gun dart gun that you could lock, switch it, and it would fire darts, and switch it back, and it would make machine gun noises. And I played the shit out of that gun well into the 90s, and still playing Rambo in my front and backyard as a kid, trying to reenact the cartoon. I love American Gladiators. The toy line is great. I love the show, but Rambo cannot be beaten by American Gladiators. Laser, Nitro, Gemini, Thunder, along with all those beautiful women. Rambo beats you all out there.
And
Rambo moving forward.
If you guys want to hear us talk about American Gladiators, go to that Beyond Retro channel and check out that episode. And it's especially funny because Tyler was sick during the week and didn't know we were live and mentioned that he had shit in his bed.
Yeah, true story.
And it was great. All right, our final first round matchup. This is taking way longer than I ever thought that it would.
Yeah, we'll have to get more fast with these next rounds.
Yeah.
We have Wwf Ljn going against Sectars.
I'm the only one that's going to say it, but you already know I love Sectars. And again, didn't hate LJN, but no, I'm just going with Sectars. WWF is always great, but man, I thought the Sectars, they were just so ahead of their time with the sculpts and articulation for figures in that day of that size and scale. I loved them, but I just I know it didn't last that long. And again, that's where more parent groups got involved, saying, how can you tell what's a villain and what's a hero? They all look scary. And then the line went away. What a pisser. But I'm saying Sectaurs.
I got to say LGN, because I was all about that. But I knew of Sectaurs. I wanted the figures. I saw a comic book in kindergarten and wanted to know more about it. It's a line that I think is a wonderful. I love the high playset. I love Spydrax. But I got to go with the classic LGN Hogan and Junkyard Dog. Yeah, I just love this phase and the Thumb Wrestlers. So it's respect to Sectaurs, but they got to get the leg drop from me.
I got you.
I'm gonna go with Sectaurs.
That's a shocker. Wow.
I'm gonna go with Sectaur, and I'll tell you why. The main thing, like, I had some LJNs. I had the ring. The ring, to me, was super fragile. That shit busted in the middle really easy.
Mine did, too.
We talked about the WCW Galoobs. These are basically the same thing in a higher scale. They don't do anything. They don't have any action features. I appreciate them and love them, but if I'm wanting, as a kid, to have toys to play with, I want them to actually be able to move and have some articulation. So I always preferred the Hasbros over LJNs. I had more Hasbros over LJNs, which isn't saying much because I don't have that many Hasbros. So yeah, Sectaurs moves on.
Boom. Now this is where, like you said, obviously the pace will be picked up because we gave our reasoning behind everything. But now it'll be interesting. This is where we're definitely going to deviate. So did you want to start on the left, Nathan?
Yeah. We'll come back over here to bracket 1. We got Secret War. We basically have the battle between Marvel and DC. My vote's going to be for Batman just because I was always a Batman kid. I liked Marvel, but Batman was my shit as a kid. So Batman gets my vote.
Secret Wars.
Batman 89 for me.
Moves on. There we go.
Up next. This one will honestly be kind of tough for me. We have Pee-wee's Playhouse going against Brave Star.
Brave Star for me.
Brave Star for me. Sorry, Pee-wee.
Yeah, I know Nathan was probably going to say Pee-wee, but yep, Brave Star.
You know, even though Brave Star's already moving on because we have the majority vote, I'll throw my vote for Pee-wee just for the sentimental value. Playing with those figures with my great-grandfather, going and visiting him, I have lots of memories tied to those. Brave Star, not so much. Oh, wait, look at me. I'm moving Pee-wee over. Ha! Sorry, guys. Let me move Brave Star. My bad.
All right.
Up next, Black Star versus Inhumanoids.
Black Star.
Well, I don't really have a vote in that one. I would say.
What would you have picked?
I honestly, I think I would have picked Inhumanoids just because the scale of the figures. You had two varying scale, and it just honestly, the Inhumanoids line looks cooler to me than Black Star. Black Star, I am probably get some flack for this, but it seems like even though it was a predecessor, the toys just seem like super knockoffs. They're fine. But compared to like Masters and everything, they seem like not. Maybe I'm being an asshole about that. Anyway, Mad Balls versus G.I. Joe.
I'm the only one that's gonna say it, but I'm gonna have fun saying Mad Balls.
All right, I'm gonna let Nathan because I don't want to continue to keep saying it's just Nathan, give your vote first.
My vote's got to be for Mad Balls. No, I'm kidding.
You're kidding.
No, it's G.I. Joe. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, put G.I. Joe forward. Go on. Just like we know the next one, but go ahead.
Battle of the Playmates. We have Bucky O'Hare versus Turtles. I vote Ninja
Turtles.
Up next, we have GoBots versus Muscle.
Loved Muscle. I mean, I like I said, GoBots was cool too, but God, I love Muscle, so Muscle.
Tyler, you can go ahead.
I gotta say GoBots.
Really?
I gotta say GoBots. I hope people are enjoying like the idea of these characters going at it right now as we're discussing this, like in a kumite of some kind. You're like battling it out, whether you like the winner or not. But just
we
fun,
ultimately know who's
going to
win, right? Even if at some point I'm going to put up a little bit of a fight about it.
Never know. Anything can happen.
At this point, I'm shocked the Bionic 6 still did not beat Voltron. So I'm
and that we put Sectaurs over LJN. So
Yeah, that's another one. So so far I'm like, know what?
There's been a few surprises, and if the chat had their way with some of these, it would be completely different as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with GoBots. Like Muscle is cool, but it kind of goes back to the whole LJ with Muscle. They're just there. You can't do that much with them. GoBots have a lot more going for them. Up next, we have Dino Riders versus Dick Tracy. This one's a toughie.
For me, I had no Dino Riders, and like I said, as for Dick Tracy, I got to go Dino Riders because it's just too cool of a line. Even though I didn't have any of them, Dino Riders.
Anything?
As much as I love Dick Tracy, and I have them all except for the blank, Josh, I'm still waiting. As much as I love Dick Tracy, I got to go with Dino Riders just because that line is. I just think about it. I've said it before. You have dinosaurs with laser guns attached to them. What kid's not gonna like that?
Unfortunately, a lot of little bastards didn't take to it since the line didn't last that long.
No.
But that makes three of us.
All right.
My passion for Dick Tracy, got to go with the Dino Riders, though.
WWF Hasbro against Toxic Crusaders.
WWF for me.
This one's toughy, too.
It is. Yeah. It is.
Because the cartoon is badass and funny. But
yes, it is.
But Hasbro's are, they're Hasbro's.
Yeah.
Joe,
I got to go with
Joe. Your vote was Hasbro's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going with, Tyler?
Hasbro. WWF Hasbro.
Yeah, it's tough. Ultimately, I would have to go with Hasbro as well.
Yeah. Sorry, Toxie, but Hasbro, Jake the Snake, Hogan, Demolition.
Yeah.
Just too damn awesome.
Yeah. All right, we're over here on the other side. We got Sectars going against Rambo.
Sectars for me.
Ah, damn it, guys. Like some of them are easy, and some of these are just like this is gonna get tough. This is really gonna get tough. I'm sorry, Joe. I gotta go with Rambo on that.
That's fine. Go ahead.
You hear the Rambo thing.
You son of a bitch. All right, and this one, I feel like I know how the chat's going to vote on this. Movie Maniacs against Voltron.
Now, again, I have every Movie Maniac, love them, but just the playability and fun and just fond memories of Voltron. As much as I like Movie Maniacs, I go Voltron.
I'm going Movie Maniacs.
Okay.
I'm going to go Movie Maniacs as well.
All right.
Because Movie Maniacs honestly was the line that sort of got me back into wanting to have figures on display.
Till my damn RoboCop's leg broke off. Damn it, did that upset me? And I tried to glue it back on, never got it back on properly.
And that's the bummer with those figures, though, is they're so fragile. I love them, but they're fragile.
Yes.
All right.
Up next, Ghostbusters against Visionaries, and it's funny because the chat's like a little bit behind us since we're going. So now people are like, Voltron, Voltron, Voltron. Damn it, you guys are on crack.
Ghostbusters for me, no doubt.
Yeah, Ghostbusters for me as well.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
All right. Battle Beasts against Thundercats.
Thundercats
for me as well. Star Wars against the New Adventures of He-Man.
Oh, we got space versus space here, people. Sorry, but New Adventures for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's just thousands of those damn Star Wars figures. Cool, but yeah, like I said, they did a great job with New Adventures with their figures.
I'm still laughing about you guys are on crack. Yeah, New Adventures moves forward. I know some people. Well, I know we are mostly. We are a He-Man, not mostly. There's no mostly to it. We are a He-Man podcast, but the Star Wars figures for me were fine, but they were just credit due to them that they are the thing that sort of spearheaded the whole 80s toy phenomenon, because that came in right there at the beginning of the decade, and how toys had evolved in the years that passed. It's nice to see. Next up, Cops versus Silverhawks. This one's a tough.
Oh my god!
For me, I just say Silverhawks because it's the only ones I collected. I know Cops was awesome, but I'm going Silverhawks because I had some of the figures and just love that damn cartoon.
I got to let Nathan go next.
Damn, that one's tough.
I gotta go with Silverhawks. I just
Silverhawks moves on.
Yeah. That one's tough, but yeah. Ultimately, you'd have to go Silverhawks. I think if Cops was going against something else here, and that like if Cops was going against Star Wars, I would have moved Cops ahead.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I love Star Wars, the original Star Wars, but I have a greater affinity for these more obscure '80s toy lines than the Star Wars toy line, even in general.
And
it's just
can't stress enough. If you guys haven't watched Cops, just go. It's on YouTube. Seek it out.
Every episode is available to watch on YouTube for free.
You can get
just if you never heard of it, watch the intro alone.
Yeah.
See if that doesn't pull you in.
Yeah, it's
bring on Chuck Norris already. Come on.
the one thing Chuck Norris couldn't defeat, I guess. Chuck Norris against Masters of the Universe.
Just put it forward. Yeah. We don't need.
Yeah.
It's almost like we shouldn't have even put Masters in here. You know, maybe.
Well, it's the theme of the
I always feel like,
podcast.
I mean, the whole point was it was just awesome to see. Just I don't need it. We'll get sidetracked.
Up next, Toy Biz Marvel against Transformers.
Transformers.
Toy Biz Marvel.
Damn, guys.
Come on, take out Transformers, get it out of there, so we don't have to worry about what happened in the real Toy Fair.
But you think about it. If I were to move Transformers ahead, then it's going against Masters in the next round. That could make things.
And He-Man gets the ultimate rematch 20 years later.
Put them forward. Come on, put Transformers forward.
My vote's going to go for Transformers.
All
right. Here we go. This is like I guess you call this the quarterfinals. We have
close.
Batman Kenner against Brave Star.
Brave Star.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
I'm going to throw up.
A lot of people in the chat were like, Transformers. And then Pop Hud's like, come on, Nathan. Come on, Transformers. I like Tyler said, I hope you guys are enjoying this. This was a fun thing to just brainstorm and put together and figure this out. Ultimately, we know who's going to win, of course. But the interesting thing is, who's Master's going to go against in the finals? Who are they going to match up with to get there? You know?
Yeah. When their names pop up on the Kumite board up there, for the final match, who's it going to be? Who's going to be the Chong Li to He-Man's Frank Dukes?
Joe, you voted Brave Star, right?
Yeah, Brave Star.
I'm gonna go with Batman.
God, this is really gut. I'm starting to genuinely feel like
I'm gonna be. You feel like how Joe felt last week?
I'm getting there, man, and I don't have a bucket. I could probably spew into my bottle here, I guess.
I just spewed everywhere. Yeah, Batman's my vote. All right, Tyler, I'm gonna think about the summer '89. Think about Batmania. Think about all that. Think about how many times you watched the VHS.
Yeah.
Think about how Keaton's the best Batman.
Yeah, I got to go with '89, man. Keaton '89.
There you go. All right.
Sorry, Brave Star.
Make that logo a little bit bigger for you guys. Up next, Black Star versus G.I. Joe.
I don't like. Black Star. I mean,
G.I. Joe, man.
G.I. Joe. Sorry, Joe. And
I understand that
completely. Did we ever mention the fact that technically we have two Joes on this podcast?
I guess we do, don't we?
Yeah. People are like, "What?" We'll just leave it at that. Up next, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going against GoBots. Turtles.
Turtles.
Sorry, GoBots. You had a good run though.
Yeah, they did.
And last on this side, Dino Riders against WWF Hasbro.
Oh my God!
Never had the Dino Riders, but they look so awesome. And of course, anything WWF I got excited about, but I really wish I had some of those Dino Riders figures. I'm just gonna say Dino Riders because they did look cool as hell.
Tyler, I'll let you go next.
Dino Riders. It really is like
no.
God.
I honestly, I was like that is a toughie, but Dino Riders is just so damn cool.
Yeah.
This wasn't even in the original deal at all, so for it to have gotten this far, it says there's a lot of Dino Riders here. Not obviously not a lot of wrestling fans, and I want to say thanks again. I will do it at the end of the show as well. Thank you guys for sticking around. We've been sitting. I don't know if the number has changed, Joe, if it's like locked on me, but it's stayed at 30 pretty much this entire time. So I appreciate
31 right now for me. So that is pretty cool. You guys sticking around. I
appreciate it,
guys.
It's awesome,
and
we hope you guys have enjoyed this a lot. Over on this side, Rambo against Movie Maniacs.
Rambo.
Movie Maniacs for me.
I'm gonna go Movie Maniacs.
Shit! God! No!
Oh, this one's Ghostbusters against Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Like I said,
sorry, Ghostbusters, but Thundercats. It has to be Thundercats.
Yeah, there was. I mean, again, I had some. I didn't have a ton, but I actually had more of the Ghostbusters figures as a kid, and I still got a bag full of them, and I think 2 Thundercats. And I guess it's just going to go from what I remember playing with most. I'm going to go with Ghostbusters.
All right, now I'm getting tense here, people. We're
Don't
getting
worry,
down here, man. We're getting down, man. It's because the Ghostbusters is in my top 5 toy lines, but that's like oh my God.
Trust me, it'll be Thundercats, but I'll just give my.
I can't guarantee anything anymore.
Oh man, we're getting like, my God, seriously, about the Movie Maniacs going past Rambo. Oh man, what a moment! What a moment! I'm gonna have to go with Ghostbusters.
Oh Lord!
What the fuck?
Look at Richard. Tyler's done now. He pushes the off button and just leaves.
I mean, no, because I love Ghostbusters, but Thundercats and Rambo to not move on here.
I'm gonna tell you why. Ghostbusters, I played with them to death as a kid. Thundercats, like Joe, I only had a couple, and I had the mini line with the mini cat layer that was handed down to me probably the early 90s. I love Thundercats. Oh, this is crazy. These people are probably...
But I had more Ghostbusters as a kid than Thundercats. And I played more Ghostbusters than Thundercats. But just the presence that Thundercats left with me, it was just... And it's dead. It was given the death touch by Peter Venkman, which is okay. I love the Ghostbusters, but
there's still a little bit of time to change my mind.
Hey, well, it's still like a I can't argue.
Joe's like, you got to move it forward.
Push that logo.
What's the chat room think about that? You got that Ghostbusters.
They all wanted Thundercats. Yeah, they wanted Thundercats.
I feel your pain, chat room. We share a common blood loss right now here, people. So we're all mourning a loss right now.
All right, next round.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm sorry. Had to shake it up a little bit. Oh man, they're pissed. Anyway, New Adventures of He-Man against Silverhawks.
Silverhawks.
Oh God, man. Jeez. I didn't think it was going to feel this gut wrenching, getting deeper and deeper into it here. Oh.
You know what? I've had a change of heart.
You can't do it. It's already been moved. No. You got to keep it.
I don't know. Nathan's in charge of the computer.
I control this shit.
Stand strong with your decision, Nathan. You did it. You pissed off the chat room.
It's tough. It's tough. I will move Thundercats because it does. Honestly, despite that, I played with Ghostbusters more. Thundercats moving on does make the most amount of sense because it was the bigger line. For me to just do that, it doesn't make sense. So there we go.
Sure, Jim.
Don't hate me too much. And honestly, I'm kind of thinking ahead a little bit because I'm thinking ahead.
I know what you want to do.
I can't see anything. I'm only going by what I'm being told. Okay. So I have no. So I'm not looking at anything right now.
Who voted what? New Adventures Silverhawks? Well,
I said
Joe's only said Silverhawks. So Nathan, you need to make the next vote because this is picking 2 children for me here.
I know what Nathan's doing. I can see it. can see it. But go ahead, Nathan.
I think, that one's tough.
I've made up my mind.
Because both of the lines are really great, but if I'm gonna kind of break it down, sort of like how I did with the going back and ultimately moving Thundercats forward, people are like, "Stop cheating." I wasn't cheating. I wasn't cheating. Like, that was a tough matchup. Like, obviously, my heart lies more with Ghostbusters, but I think Thundercats deserves to move ahead, just because. It was
Now you're
way.
New Adventures of Silverhawks.
I'm gonna go with Silverhawks.
Make that 3.
All right, moves forward.
Yeah.
And now redemption time.
I vote Transformers.
Masters of the Universe versus Transformers. Well, I'm gonna say Masters of the Universe.
Both incredibly significant toy lines. For the time period, it made total sense in that original bracket that they both made it to the finals.
So let me just say, this match will end with He-Man defeating Optimus, but he helps Optimus up, and they shake hands and walk away from the mat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Final 4.
Yep.
Or final.
The Elite 8.
Elite 8. All right.
Batman against G.I. Joe.
I didn't collect G.I. Joe, but I understand what a great property it is. And I'm just saying G.I. Joe.
But go by opinions, though. But it has to be on your opinion. Don't do it because you feel like it's the right thing.
Well, the thing is, like I said, with both these lines, I really didn't have any of them. But I mean, just G.I. Joe has such a bigger variety of figures and play sets and vehicles, and God, I could see how kids would lose their minds with it. So I understand that as more of a toy line of something. So I'll G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
My vote, I love Batman, but ultimately my vote will go to G.I. Joe. I just want to laugh at Curtis Ackerman again, who said, if you're going to go back, then travel back to earlier in the week when you put Movie Maniacs in this bracket. It was there in the original.
Yeah, that's one of the few that survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up next, Ninja Turtles against Dino Riders. Sorry, Dino Riders, you had a good run, but I am going to go with Ninja Turtles.
Turtles. Yep.
Curtis Ackerman, you'll be happy now. Movie Maniacs against Thundercats.
Oh, Sword of Omens impales Jason and cuts off Freddy's hand.
I'll go with Thundercats on that one as well. It would be funny if Joe... Well, Joe, what were you going to vote for? You guys...
I said Thundercats.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Yep. Wouldn't it have been funny if Joe would have been like, Movie Maniacs? I would have been like, Movie Maniacs.
Yeah, I figured it'd be Jason to the death. Like, he's just picturing Jason and Lionel going at it with machete and Sword of Omens.
Let's picture this. If Ghostbusters had stayed and moved on, would you still put it over Movie Maniacs? I would have.
Ghostbusters, hands down.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Silverhawks against Masters of the Universe. I mean, do I even need to ask? Do I even need to ask?
Yep.
All right, here we go. The final 4. Thundercats against Masters of the Universe.
Oh my God.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. This is where the Thundercats have got to be stopped, at least for the time being, and He-Man will defeat the Thundercats.
I like how Papa Huds is like, "Come on, Masters." It's like, it's academic. I think I've said that like 50 times already. G.I. Joe against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one's a tough one.
Turtles.
Turtles
for me.
I'm gonna go with Turtles. G.I. Joe, cheaper price point. You could get way more of them, but Ninja Turtles was my go-to toy line as a kid.
Both of them were, though.
Yeah, I mean they both were. But...
It was G.I. Joe and Turtles back and forth for the late '80s, early '90s, man. Oh my God! I mean, Turtles is moving on, but it's. I was turtle nuts, though. I mean, I think I ranked the toy lines differently, but I got to go with Turtles, though.
So here we are. We've reached our final that some people probably don't agree with. Apologies that Jason Wheeled Warriors was not included on the list, even though we kind of tossed him in the first round to be eaten alive by Masters. Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed this. I know what they're going to pick. I'm going to stand my ground and say Ninja Turtles, just because it had more significance to me as a kid. The cartoon, the movie... I was there, right place, right time. The 90 movie came out. I was like 6 years old. It was perfect for me.
And a ton, just an absolute ton of figures, and then just things that, as a kid, I could picture just going nuts, that if at that time I was growing up, I would probably want every single thing that they made, even some of the weird stuff, which now that's some of the rarest stuff and the most expensive figures, for Turtles. But yeah, I go Masters of the Universe, but Turtles, I could see definitely how and why people would want to pick that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Masters of the Universe.
He-Man is triumphant 20 years later in winning a 64 combatant tournament.
God, what a process.
Took all those years for Masters of the Universe to finally win. But no, that was fun. That was fun. So like you said,
Sean said this is exactly how I thought this was going to end.
Well, yeah, on the He-Man podcast, like I wouldn't expect it on a Star Wars podcast, Transformers podcast. Yeah. I would expect, but it was just the road to get there, and because I didn't know how Nathan was going to set the brackets. I just kind of put them together, and it was all.
I hope I did okay in that regard.
Oh, well, you put me through more heartache than I thought I was going to be going through, because I didn't look ahead to see who might beat who, and plus not knowing what Joe was going to say. So, my reactions were pretty genuine.
People are like, "Have you seen what podcast you're on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know," and I like the vintage line, but my vote had to go for Turtles because to me it was more significant in my childhood.
Makes
and
perfect.
Nathan is the more neutral of the two of us, so yeah, it would make sense for Nathan to say Turtles,
Yep. And as Nathan said, if you guys had a couple questions, because I at 11:20 have to.
It's getting late, guys. Something. So go ahead and shoot us a couple questions, and we'll do that. I know Joe will say his spiel at the end. I want to tell you guys, make sure you check everything out in the description below. Check out all those links. Buy a t-shirt from Joe. Are you wearing the Fans of Power NWO shirt, Joe?
Yes. Yep.
That
I am wearing.
That's still on the shop. So if you guys,
that should. Yeah.
I think it is. I don't know. Joe keeps taking stuff.
I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, it's still there. We haven't seen anybody buy a single damn one. What the hell's wrong with you people?
And well, here's the first question. Like I said, we'll probably have about 3 of them. But Grimbot said, "Were you guys aware that Battle Beasts are connected with Transformers?" Yes, I am.
Yes.
I found that. Yes. Yeah. So that is pretty cool. Adam Gabbert said, Joe, Tyler, and Nathan, why is there no articulation in the 2000X Masters of the Universe figures that we know of that stand still? Were they available a while back? Well, they had slight articulation. There was going to be more to them. And if I remember, believe it or not, I think in a Toy Fair magazine, they said they went against it because within testing with kids and stuff, they thought the articulation would, lose, get too loose for everything, for the wrists and elbows, but... All right, let me see. Question. Well, we might have a couple more. Question from Sean says, who would win in a fight? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Ninja or Injitsu?
Turtles. Well, you know what? It sort of depends because I feel like with the Turtles and their different personalities, they have a tendency in battle to sort of like get in each other's way. And unless they're working as one unit, they oftentimes get their ass kicked. Whereas Ninja and Jitsu would sort of be way more focused than them, I would think.
And they're not really a team. Like they're more, I could see them trying to one up each other, based on their own personal skills. But I could see them like putting aside their differences more to be like more of a definitive tag team. They don't like. They probably think the other's one's better than the other, but yeah, I could definitely see them thinking more clearly. Probably kick the Turtles' ass at the first time, but then when they get their shit together, it's a good chance the Turtles might.
Yeah, that's the way that the Turtles were. Much like anything, they get their ass kicked and then pull it together, and ultimately.
Yeah, they get cocky, and Ninja and Jitsu just beat the shit out of him, and then Leo comes back, and Raph pissed off even more, but focused, and Don and Mikey so. It's a good chance that the Turtles could get some revenge on that one. Good battle there.
Good question. Yeah, that was a good question, Sean. Thank you for that. And well, the last one, it's a light one, but it's good because we're wrapped up on time. But Curtis Ackerman said, Joe was talking about a Voltron sharpener earlier. Did you guys have those Masters of the Universe erasers at school? He used to play with those all the time. I did the same with, and I still have all mine over there on a little shelf. In fact, my Orko, I kind of used as my actual Orko figure for, the vintage line, because he was so small. I thought he was more in scale. So that was kind of the Orko I used when I played with He-Man.
Well, can we ask one more question from Fedmon? What is your actual favorite R-rated movie kids line?
Rambo. Even though if it's based directly on the movie and not because RoboCop is based off the cartoon that's based on the movie. So most of these toy lines, like Terminator 2, is directly based on the movie. Demolition Man is directly based on the movie. So if that's what we're going on, probably Terminator 2. If we're doing because
I would say
the Aliens line's based off the cartoon that never got off.
I would say just in general. Like, what's your favorite toy line just based from an R-rated movie?
Oh, Rambo, then.
I'd probably go RoboCop on that one.
Yeah, no movie maniacs and considered for kids, but just them because they're all from R-rated, basically the majority of them, and I like them. That's all I know.
It's still a sensitive subject, Joe. Don't bring up how far they got into the Kumite.
Definitely, but no, guys, that was a blast. It was fun. We got a little fun.
That was.
The chat room was super hot and involved the whole time, so they enjoyed it. And yes, next week we'll be doing the discussion for PowerCon. But no, this week is dedicated to the toy tussle. It was fun, and it kept you guys active, so we always appreciate that. And if you guys are, like I always say, if you're new to the channel, just make sure you like, subscribe, share, ring that bell so you can always be notified when we do go live. So until next time, have a powerful day.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Ghostbusters!
Oh, hey,
it gave me an easy
It was that thing that beat Thundercats, and then I went ahead and retracted my vote like a bitch.
That's terrible.
And
no, that was fun.
And really quick, JS.
If people like this, we could always do another one with like nothing but He-Man characters, like pitting the hero, like putting like a set number of like heroes against a set number of villains, and break it down who is the definitive outside of He-Man and Skeletor. That'd be kind of fun to do, or something.
Actually,
we could do another tournament if people like.
I would say do two separate ones. Do one that's all heroes and one that's all villains.
That'd be cool. Like we could mix it up and have like a Horde member versus a Snake Man, an Evil Warrior versus another Evil Warrior. Like, that would be a lot of fun.
And we could maybe even take out the choice that He-Man and Skeletor aren't involved.
Yeah, none of the faction leaders would be involved. It would just strictly focus on all the various warriors. Like, that's the way to do it. Yeah.
There we go. And JSP said,
that would be fun.
No more retro gaming. Not right now. Maybe here in a little bit. We'll see. Not tonight. I mean, like a little bit, like in the future, weeks, months down the road, kind of thing. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. We had a blast doing it. I don't really know where to go from there. We did the quote, Joey.
It was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know it's like we went a hell of a lot longer than we thought, and I got to get up early in the morning too. But I'm not too worried about it because it was a blast. I was so looking forward to doing this for such a long time. I'm glad Joe enjoyed it. I hope everyone in the chat room, regardless of your emotions, and still enjoyed it and got worked up about it. Because it was fun to share multiple heartaches over. I want this toy line to beat this one. It's just fun. It's fun fanboy banter. It's why we're all here all these years later, talking about this stuff. And shit, I just knocked over Leech. But, it was
you should
fun.
knock over the tap like me. No, it was a blast, and we're glad you guys enjoyed it. We had fun, and yep,